And we are live. Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well. FTFE is about to start his live stream as well. Thank you all for coming. Tonight's topic is, does gravity exist? So we're going to see what we can debate about to see if gravity really exists or not. I say no, and FTFE definitely says yes, so we'll keep it at that. So I do have a poll running. The poll so far stands at 29 votes, yes 62% and no 38%. Still quite close in contention. Hey Michael Khan, good to see you. Hey BJ Krushank, Sleeping Warrior, good to see you. Bobby Steels. Who else is in here? I saw Candid 3, good to see you. Sean Hawkins and Vaynant. Thank you all for being here. If you haven't already, please just do hit that like button and share so we can get the show out to more people. The more people we have, the better the show. So yeah, thank you all for coming. Hey Lumpy Gas, good to see you. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that supports the show. Thank you to all my members, all my Patreon supporters, and everybody that's just subscribed. Thank you for being here. I do have links below on the screen and in the description below if you do feel the want to be able to support the channel. Thank you all for coming. Really do appreciate it, and I hope it's going to be an epic debate. So yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Sorry, who's in? I'm gonna be in the realm. Sorry, I'm going to have to mute you because I'm going to have a debate now with Fight the Flat Earth. Hello? Sorry.
Yeah, cool, man. Good on you. Good on you.
Okay. Sorry about that, man. But I'm going to have an after show afterwards if you want to come talk. It'll be great.
Hey, if it's any consolation for the future, Hazard Brew, I'm from Joburg, and, you know, so the realm. So hopefully we'll chat via text sometime, yeah?
Awesome. Yeah, it's good to see some fellow South African flat earthers.
Fucking lekker, bro. Cool, man. Good luck, man. Say hello to the fat fucker for me, man.
I'll do so. Cheers, man. Bye.
I'll tell you what.
Okay, so Fight Flat is just letting his daughter say hello to everybody. Yes, Two Wolves, Cavendish is not an experiment. We're probably going to touch on that tonight and probably about the Chilean experiment. So we're going to probably touch on some issues of science today, and is it scientifically validated, and some of the nuances for gravity. So we'll see what he comes up with. So yeah, he's just putting everybody in, saying hi to everybody. Hey Triple X, good to see you. Where's the gloves? Yeah, Vaynant. It's good to see so much South Africans actually coming on board, yeah, because lately I've been seeing a lot of South Africans join in, so that's quite good. I'm really excited about that. The poll has been...
Hello, Flatzoid. How you doing?
Good in yourself. Good to see. Good to chat, Craig.
How you doing? I know you've been having a hard time over there in South Africa with the power outages and stuff. Hope everything's getting sorted for you.
Yeah, it's not too bad at the moment. I've at least, some of my supporters have generously donated some cash to me so I can get a system. I should be able to get Saturday to actually go get the system so I can set it up, so I can go totally off grid when the power is off.
So you're getting like an uninterruptible power supply type thing?
Yeah, I'm going to look at an inverter setup and stuff that I can upgrade to solar panels. So I can let it charge through the power while power's on, and then when the power's off I just run through the battery.
Well, that's something that I can definitely get behind. Despite your thoughts on the shape of the Earth and whatever else, that's a good thing to be doing. Flatzoid, thank you very much for taking the time to debate me once again. I know these things can get heated and stuff, but I think you and I have a decent enough rapport that we can have a heated discussion without it getting unfriendly. Don't you agree?
Definitely, and like we said, we don't take anything personal. We're all just for it in the game.
No, I can call you a fucking idiot, and you're just going to take it in your stride.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting nice sound clips for your episodes of Flirt to Idiots during this debate. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to enjoy this. I mean, we were going to do this last night, but unfortunately my Wi-Fi has been off for 2 days, so I'm just happy. It literally came on at like 9:15 last night. So I did a little quick, just chill stream, just so I could get something out. But yeah.
That's fine. I know that you have been having issues, and I appreciate you taking the time that you do have to talk to me. You know, there's a lot of people on your side that are far too afraid to step outside and, you know, even stream on their channel whilst talking to others. So, you know, I do give you props for doing that. So, you know, it's awesome. Gravity.
Yeah, gravity. Does it exist?
Absolutely 100%. I'm assuming your position is it does not.
Definitely no, it does not exist. Would you have any evidence for it existing?
Well, we can measure it. We can predict and test it. We use it in engineering. It's included in calculations for buoyancy. You know, gravity is one of the most empirically demonstrated facts of the universe, I would say. There's many things that gravity does that nothing else can explain. So, you know, I've measured, as part of my physics degree, measuring gravity and, you know, deriving universal gravitational constant was something that I personally did, as well as everybody else who's ever done a physics degree. So, you know, I've got no doubt in my mind that something I can measure actually exists.
Cool. What is gravity actually?
Well, the easiest way to describe it is an apparent attractive force between masses.
But you do agree that gravity is not a force, though?
Gravity creates a force, is the best way to, you know, get around that particular semantics argument. You know, we all know that gravity isn't a force in the same way that an engine of a car isn't a force, but both of them create a force. So, you know, when we say the gravitational force, we mean the force created by gravity.
But doesn't gravity have to be physical to create the force, though?
What do you mean by physical?
Can you have something that's not physical creating a force?
Well, what is a force?
It's an acceleration. Obviously, it's vector-based.
Well, you said it's an acceleration. That's
yeah, the acceleration is due to a force, but I'm saying it's vector.
But yeah,
but you need physical properties. But you need physical properties.
If you were to have to, you know, write down a calculation to figure out a force, what are the two variables that you need in that?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, mass and acceleration.
What's
that's
mass?
how you calculate
What's
what
mass?
a force is.
What is mass?
The amount of matter in something.
Yeah, but what is mass?
Well, mass is, you know, what stuff is. Mass is, you know, a measure of how much something is. You know, we can say this weight is 1 kilogram of mass of iron. You know, that's the measure of how much of iron it is.
So it's a quantitative measure of inertia.
Mass. It's, well, the best way to, in physics, the best way to describe it would be a measure of resistance to inertia, if that makes sense. So would you agree with that? That mass is a way of measuring a resistance to inertia?
I don't know, but that's the same as being inertia, because inertia is the resistance of change to motion. So is mass and inertia the same thing?
We agree that mass can literally be defined as a measure of resistance to inertia that we give a unit of grams to, you know? So, you know, 1 kilogram of something is always going to be 1 kilogram of something, no matter where it is. And then, you know, the force that's applied to that will be different depending on how much acceleration is applied.
Yes.
You know, that's literally what a force is. So
you
that's
would
what we
agree
mean when we say gravitational force, is that there is an acceleration acting upon a mass. And, you know, the mass being the measure of resistance to inertia, we can then use that and the acceleration that's acting upon it to find the force.
So you're saying that the mass creates its own force? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. Mass times acceleration creates a force. If you've got a mass and that mass is under acceleration, there is a force, because F equals ma.
And gravity is not a force, so you cannot have acceleration. That's the whole point.
Well, gravity is an acceleration. That's, you know, gravity is what causes the acceleration, and then, you know, you have the acceleration acting upon the mass. Which
no,
gives
you
us
just
the
said
force.
mass is. You just said mass is accelerated. Gravity causes the mass to accelerate.
No. I said mass times acceleration equals force. Do we agree with that basic concept, Flatzoid, that mass
F equals
times
ma.
acceleration equals force? Yeah. Do we agree with that basic concept?
It takes a force to a force to make mass accelerate. I agree, but like I'm saying, gravity is not a force, so it can't cause anything to accelerate.
It's a force. Yeah.
What is gravity?
creates
How?
force.
Explain to me what is gravity so it can create a force.
It's an apparent attractive force between all masses. That's I don't really need to get into exactly what it is.
Yes, you do, because you said it exists. You says it creates.
Hold on. It's whether gravity is real, not whether I can define it down to the most accurate meaning. And that's not what it is. To demonstrate that gravity is real, I simply have to be able to measure it, and that's it. I don't have to define it to show that it's real. The same way that I could, show you that an electromagnetic field is a real thing without knowing exactly what it is. You don't have to know or explain exactly what it is to know that there's something going on there. We know that there is an apparent attractive force between all masses that is proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the masses. This is just an empirical fact.
And this is all based on what?
Measurements.
What measurements? Where did you measure these measurements?
Well, I performed a torsion bar gravity experiment.
So Cavendish.
World.
So you're saying,
very similar to a Cavendish experiment, yeah.
Cavendish is not an experiment. It doesn't have an IV and an
Well,
EV.
absolutely is. Whether you say it's not an experiment, it doesn't matter because
What's
it
the
absolutely
IV?
isn't.
What's the IV for Cavendish?
What's the? See, here we go. This is where you just go around the IV roundabout, because I tell you that the IV is distance, but you say distance can't cause anything. So that's because you guys, even though your mantra is what's the IV, the scientific method, you don't actually have any clue what an IV is, because
Independent
in
variable.
the Cavendish experiment, the IV is the distance between the masses. That's it.
Distance
and the
causes
dV
acceleration.
is the apparent deflection. So you manipulate the distance between the masses and you measure the apparent deflection of the bar on the torsion wire.
So gravity is distance.
No, the IV in the experiment is distance.
But what are you trying? I thought you were trying to
Nobody
measure
said that the
acceleration.
IV is gravity. That is you attempting to put words in the mouths of people whilst demonstrating that you don't actually know what an experiment is yourself. Because the IV isn't what you're, the thing. The IV is just something.
So
in the
what is
experiment.
distance causing
There's
again?
the
So what is distance causing again?
In the Cavendish experiment, specifically, the cause of the movement of the torsion bar is the distance between
So
the
not
masses.
gravity.
Because, sorry?
So not gravity, it's distance then.
Well, of course, the experiment is based on the prediction, and you've gone straight to there's an experiment.
That's what I'm
without
trying to point out to you. It's not an
prediction.
experiment. You don't have an actual cause.
Well, it is an experiment because
you're contradicting yourself.
actually
If you're saying it's
matches
gravity,
things. I've never contradicted
if you're saying it's gravity,
No,
then you're calling gravity
said-
a distance.
These are words that you're saying. So the experiment would be based on the predict. You're kind of working backwards here, obviously, through the Flurf mantra, the scientific method. So what comes before experiment in the scientific
Observation.
method?
So what
is
did you
prediction.
observe?
And what becomes before the prediction is obviously the hypothesis. So all these things can.
What did you observe? Let's start at step one. Observe gravity. Please tell me where
Okay,
you
no,
observe
you
gravity.
want to go back to high school. That's absolutely fine. So, what's an observation? My observation is that when I pick up this earring that my wife wears, cool, isn't it? I had this 3D printed by a fan.
Quite nice.
And when I let it go, it accelerates towards my hand at about 9.8 meters per second squared. Can we all agree that that's an observation that I've just made?
Yeah, some things fall because it's denser
Excellent.
than the medium around it. Yes, it can be
Well,
scientifically validated.
Wait. You're putting. Well, that's not my hypothesis. That's things that you would say. I've simply made an observation, and do we all agree?
Things fall.
The observation of when I let this go, not just fall, right?
It's fall.
When I let this go,
Things fall.
it accelerates to. No. Listen. When I let this go, it accelerates towards my hand at approximately 9.8 meters per second squared. Not falls, accelerates.
Does things start at terminal velocity or do they start at zero?
Wait. No, hold on. you're totally skipping around. You know, we stick to one thing at a time.
This
you
is
wanted
acceleration.
to do science and thing, so we'll do it one step at a time.
This is acceleration.
And do we all agree? Do we all agree that I have observed that when I let go of this earring, it accelerates towards my hand at approximately 9.8 meters per second squared?
It falls
Is that an
towards your
agreement
hand.
we can have?
It falls towards your
Yes.
hand.
It
You haven't even got to acceleration. You haven't got to 9.8 meters squared yet. You literally just
Wait,
observing.
are you? Hold on, Flatzoid.
Listen,
Wait.
we started
Let me-
at.
let me-
Listen.
no,
we started
you're not-
at.
like,
We
when I
started
let go
at
of this, it accelerates towards my hand. That is my observation. I am literally observing it. I am literally observing.
Are you going
that the
to-
second I let go of this? Wait, let me finish my point, please. The second that I let go of this, it accelerates towards my hand. Accelerates. The second that I let go of it, it accelerates towards my hand at 9.8 meters per second.
What's acceleration,
Boom.
Greg?
That's my observation.
What's acceleration, Craig?
Change in velocity over time.
Okay, thank you. So nothing starts at terminal velocity. It literally starts at 0 and has to
No
accelerate.
one said anything about terminal velocity.
Okay,
right?
That's why it
I am
accelerates. Listen.
I am observing an acceleration the second that I let go of this. Not moving, moving. That's an acceleration.
Did you put
I am
energy
observing
into
an
the system?
acceleration. Are you disagreeing with me that I am observing an acceleration?
No, I'm disagreeing with your correlation to why it's accelerating.
I haven't made any correlation. I have made zero correlations.
You
so
said
far.
9.8
I have
meters per
simply
second
made an
squared.
observation. Yeah, because it's accelerating at 9.8
that's
meters per
correlation.
second.
Remember,
there's
we
no
started-
correlation. That is the speed of acceleration. That's an
Remember we
observation.
started with step 1. You picked up the earring,
Yes.
you dropped it. Okay, that's it. You saw it falling. That is the
No,
observation.
again. My observation is I saw it accelerate.
You making claims
Wait,
to accelerate at 9.8 meters squares is already skipping to other steps. It's you already correlating it to gravity.
Okay, no. Once again, I observe an acceleration. Literally, I observe an acceleration. I'm not skipping any steps. I am watching this accelerate at 9.8 meters per second squared towards my hand the second I let it go.
How did you
I'm
know
not
it's
skipping
9.8
any
meters
steps.
per second?
Right, here we go. Right here, I'm gonna do the observation again. I let it go. Well,
How do you know it's
One
9.8
second.
meters second squared?
the second that I let it go, well, because I've actually measured that, the
No,
acceleration.
you just observed picking it up and dropping it. That's you observed acceleration.
Yeah, but
So you adding 9.8 meters second squared is you already predetermining what's going on.
No, I'm not predetermining it. That's literally the acceleration. That is literally the speed of acceleration that's happening.
Is that in a vacuum or in atmospheric conditions?
In my hand right now.
So it's in atmospheric conditions.
Maybe you don't know what the word observation means.
Is
I'm really
9.8
confused
meters a
as to how
second?
you're not getting this.
Is 9.8
Let me-
meters
let
a
me
second
try- let me just try
acceleration in a
once more.
vacuum or is it in atmospheric conditions, Craig?
I am watching it accelerate at approximately 9.8 meters per second squared right now. The
So in
second that I let it go.
Okay.
It
So,
did it again.
so then what happens if you pick up a feather? Does it fall at a different rate?
Yes, but I'm
Oh,
not
so
using
not
a feather.
9.8 meters
I am
second
in
squared
this
then.
observation. Why are you changing my observation?
We haven't even got anywhere yet. You're making.
Yeah, because you
skipping
keep
steps.
trying to change my observation.
I'm already
Nobody here can
debunking-
disagree with the fact that when I let this earring go, it accelerates towards my hand at approximately 9.8 meters per second squared. Now, I have previously determined that things accelerate at approximately 9.8 meters per second squared. So I know that that's the acceleration that happens. So I am observing that fact. I am observing an acceleration of approximately 9.8 meters per second squared as soon as I let this go. That is an observation. Nobody in the world can deny that is an observation. There
Okay,
we
let's
go.
move on
I've
to
just
the next
observed it
point.
again.
Okay, move on. Because we're never going to get anywhere.
So, hypothesis. All right, you want me to give a hypothesis
Yeah,
now,
please do.
correct? Are you going to change my hypothesis once I give it? Because that's
No,
what I predict will
go
happen.
ahead. Do your hypothesis.
Okay.
IV.
Well, as a hypothesis is a tentative guess based on, knowledge and experience and stuff. I'm going to hypothesize that the reason that's happening is because there's some kind of attractive force between masses.
Attractive force.
Yeah, some kind of attractive force between masses. That's my hypothesis, that there is some kind of attractive force between masses that seems to be dependent on the size of the masses and the distance between the masses. That's my hypothesis. A tentative guess based on the knowledge that I have.
Okay, so you're saying...
We all agree that I have hypothesized something, that I have made a hypothesis that the reason I observed that is because there is an apparent attractive force between this mass and the big mass of the Earth. That's my hypothesis. It's simple.
Okay, so
Agreed?
Everybody? If I pick something
in the chat, we all agree with that? Yep.
First
Brilliant.
of all, you're making an assumption that there is two masses and it only goes down, which is the Earth
cool.
is the large mass.
Hypotheses are absolutely assumptions.
Okay, okay. For second rule, you say attractive forces between masses. What masses exactly are you attributing these forces to?
My hypothesis didn't mention.
I know.
My hypothesis
you want
is
a cause.
simply the
That's
reason
what
that
hypothesis is. It's a cause. So you want the cause of the attraction. You want the cause of the attraction. That's what the hypothesis is there for. So what is the cause? You just said it attracts between two masses.
Yes,
so that's not
exactly.
IV.
And then what was the next thing I said?
So is attraction your IV? Is attraction your IV?
Sorry? No, what was the things I said after that? Maybe
you said attractive force between masses. So your IV is attractive force.
No, you're just putting words in my mouth once again because you don't know what an IV is.
Attractive forces between masses. That was your IV. So attractive forces.
No, that wasn't my IV at all.
Okay, let's start again then. Say your IV
You're
again.
making things up.
I wrote it down word for word.
My entire hypothesis, clearly, did you? Because my
wrote it
entire
down word
hypothesis
for word.
also included the. Wait, you need to listen to the entire hypothesis. Because the rest of the hypothesis, which you maybe switched your brain off and forgot to listen to, was that the force appears to be, proportional to the masses, how big the masses are, and the distance between the masses. So, the IV could actually either be the distance or the force, and in fact, is both of them.
No, IV, you only have one IV.
Not the force, sorry, the distance. I said that wrong. The IV could be the distance or the masses, and in fact is both of them.
So it's not attractive.
Wait, let me finish what I'm saying before you try to correct me incorrectly. The force is dependent on how big the masses are and how close together the masses are. So there's IVs there, things that would be changed to affect the force. So there's my hypothesis.
That's not a hypothesis,
what would
Craig.
be the step afterwards? Well, you can say that's not a hypothesis, but you don't understand science.
Craig?
I'm telling you that's my hypothesis, and in fact, that was literally my hypothesis that I used in, my degree to get my first with honours that I got in physics.
Again.
So unless you are, of course, disagreeing with the, my actually teach physics, then you don't really have a leg to stand on. That is my hypothesis. My hypothesis is there is an apparent attractive force between masses that is dependent on how big the masses are and how close together the masses are.
Remember, all you did was you picked up an object, in this case your keyring. You dropped it, okay?
Yeah, correct.
You
And accelerated towards.
So you made a hypothesis for that now, saying attractive force between masses, okay? That's what you said.
Yeah, that's my hypothesis, yes.
So,
because you know that a hypothesis is literally an assumption.
What
right?
happens if I'm next to my couch here and I drop it? Why is it not going towards the couch? It's a large mass as well. Why is it not doing that?
Oh, well, that's because you haven't actually tested the hypothesis in any way and determined what the apparent force, how much that.
Do you understand
that
contradicts your so-called not hypothesis?
Absolutely not, because you haven't even asked for my prediction from my hypothesis yet to determine
a hypothesis
how big
is a prediction.
I have not said no, it's not. They're very different
for effects.
They're literally different things. Hypothesis is not your prediction. They are separate things. Would you like a citation for that?
Okay, let's go this. We explain prediction.
No. I asked you a question. Would you like a citation? Wait, I asked you a question. Let's get this done first. Would you like a citation to show that hypothesis and prediction are different things?
Prediction comes after hypothesis, like we said, but
correct.
Your hypothesis is a prediction.
How can I do my prediction?
Your hypothesis
You make a prediction from your hypothesis.
Can you let me
your
talk, Craig? This is the same as the last debate. You don't let me talk because when I'm trying to get to a point, you talk.
Citation?
Can you let me talk instead of talking over me?
Can we get past the point by me giving you a citation to show that the hypothesis and prediction are separate things? If I can provide that citation...
I never said they're the same thing, Craig. I just said your hypothesis is a prediction. Because you're predicting the cause for an effect.
Prediction is your prediction.
Okay, so you did not predict when you picked up the earring it will fall to the ground. Did you predict that or not?
No, I observed that.
So you predicted the cause, did you not? You said it's an attractive force between masses.
My hypothesis, my guess as to why it happened is because there is an apparent attractive force.
So it's that's you predicted what the cause is for the effect.
That's an explanation as to why. An explanation is not a prediction. It's an explanation.
So you didn't predict what would cause...
A hypothesis is a tentative explanation, okay? So I haven't made a prediction yet. I'm now going to use my hypothesis, which I've described. I'm going to use that.
You first need a hypothesis to make an hypothesis experiment. You still haven't given me a proper IV. You got 4 different IVs. What is the one IV? You can only have one IV for hypothesis. What is your IV?
My IV is the variables.
What?
And who said you can only have one V? Can you give me a citation? You can only have one IV and a hypothesis, please.
Okay, let me get it for you. I don't know why I have to do this, but yeah.
And then, can I show my citation that hypothesis predictions are different things?
Again, I never said it's not. You are making...
What's happened? Why can't I hear you?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Sorry, yeah, I accidentally disconnected my microphone for a second then.
Okay.
So, once you show me a citation that says you can only ever have one IV and a hypothesis, that's great. You can just share your...
I'm just going to try and share my screen quickly for you. I have to share it on Zoom for you, hey?
Yeah, so then I can show it to everybody on my side. And your citation is going to say that we
I'll just send it to you, then I'll show it to my people. I'm going to send it to you quickly in Skype.
But you share it on Zoom and I can put it up. But so your citation is going to say that you can only ever have one IV and a hypothesis. Is that right? Or is it going to say that this particular hypothesis has one IV? Because,
a hypothesis states presumed relationship between 2 variables, in a way. It can be tested with empirical data. It may take the form of cause-effect statement, or an if X, then Y statement. The cause is called the independent variable, it's singular, not plural. And the effect is called the dependent variable. Do you understand that?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so...
Is it singular, or is it singular?
Have one hypothesis? Sorry, have you got a citation that says you can only ever have one IV?
This is a citation from an edu that says variable,
but does that say
independent variable. Do you understand the difference between singular and plural?
Right, so to clarify, you don't have a citation that says you can only ever have one IV?
That's what it's saying. Independent variable.
No,
that's one. Uno.
It is not saying that you cannot have more than one IV. You do not have a citation that says you cannot have more than one IV, because that doesn't exist. You can interpret what things say as much as you want, but unless you have a citation with the specific words, you can only ever have one IV, you have nothing.
Shame, it sounds like you're trying to ignore what science is.
Well, no, I'm waiting for you to provide a citation that says you can only ever have one IV, because in science you don't have to have just one IV.
No.
There's nothing in science that ever says you have to have just one IV.
I see here's an edu for you. Researchers often include multiple independent variables in experiments, but why? The most common approach is to the factorial design, which is level of independent variable is combined with each level of other to create all possible conditions. So it's more than one hypothesis. Is that not what will happen if you have multiple independent variables?
anyway, right, I've done my hypothesis. We're going to move on to my prediction.
You haven't
on-
had a
on my
hypothesis to do. You're making.
I've literally given you my hypothesis. I've done it multiple times. Maybe you have some kind of brain injury that prevents you from converting short-term to long-term memory. I'm not entirely sure. But I've given you my hypothesis multiple times, and now using my hypothesis, I'm going to perform a prediction.
Because I see there is. Listen, I see. I got it. I think got a thing on screen that says. Can you listen?
Wait,
I've got a thing on screen that says you can use multiple independent variables, but I don't really agree with it because this looks more like factual
Oh,
design.
you don't agree with it? Well, that's kind of a you problem.
Factual design is not science. Therapist.
I don't know if you just heard what
Assigning
Flatzoid said.
partitions, nominate independent variables.
IVs, but
What
he
is
disagrees with it.
What is factual designs? Non-manipulated independent variable. How do you not manipulate the independent variable? So this one's already pseudoscientific.
So can we move on to so again, once again, you're the arbiter of what is pseudoscience, just like you said that Harvard University was
Okay,
pseudoscience.
Socratic.org. You should generally have one independent variable in an experiment. This is because the variable you're changing, in order to observe the effects it has on the other variables.
Yeah.
What is the Socratic?
Okay, so
what is the Socratic method?
Experiment yet, have I?
What is the
I have not
Socratic
got
method?
experiment yet, have I? So,
What is the Socratic method?
sorry, what is the scientific method?
The Socratic method.
Socratic. Now I'm talking about scientific method.
What's the Socratic method?
What is the Socratic method? You tell me.
It has meaning. There's a meaning why there's a Socratic method. So, another one. The independent variable in the factor changed in an experiment. There is usually one independent variable, as otherwise it's hard to know which variable has caused the change. Okay, let's do another one.
That's experiment, not hypothesis, once again. So I'm still waiting for you to find the citation.
Independent variable is called...
more than one IV. Because I haven't got to the experiment yet, because you won't let me form my prediction.
Because you haven't created a hypothesis. You're making more than one hypothesis. You can't make up your mind what the cause is. If you come up with one cause, then we can move on, but you're not making one cause.
My hypothesis has multiple IVs, and there's nothing in science that says I can't do that, so...
Can you include more than one independent and dependent variable in the study? Yes, but including more than one is either type requires multiple research questions. For example, if you're interested in the effect of a diet health.
They are different things.
So it's correlation then. So if you're doing more than one cause, it's correlation and not causation. What is science? Science is only causation.
No, it's not. There is totally correlation in science. There's literally a thing called correlative studies. Okay, anyways, we've done my hypothesis, and we all agree, as you read out the citation that says my hypothesis can have multiple IVs, and my IVs are the distance between the masses and the size of the masses. We can now move on to me forming a prediction based on my IV. My prediction is very simple, right? And I can even express it mathematically. My prediction is Fg equals Gm1m2 over r squared, which means that I predict that there is an attractive force between masses that is proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That is my prediction, which I have formed from my hypothesis.
Sorry?
Do we agree?
No.
I have made a prediction.
No, I don't agree. Are you stating that gravity is a force?
It's lovely.
Are you stating that gravity is a force, Craig? Are you stating gravity?
Sorry, say it again?
Are you stating that gravity is a force?
No, we've gone through that. I just said that there is an apparent attractive force
So it's a
between
force.
masses.
So-
It's proportional
So-
to the product, two or more masses, and inversely
So
proportional.
can you have acceleration without physical force?
Citation, please.
Can you have acceleration without physical force?
The gravity causes an acceleration, which makes the force. So anyway.
No. Okay, I got something to quickly play you. I got something to quickly play you, guys. It's gonna take 2 seconds.
Changing my
a minute.
prediction.
Just wait, Craig. You can wait
Stop
1 minute. No. You can wait one. This is from Craig's actual interview with George Musa. Huh.
Literally, it's not a force.
Oh, wait. Literally, it's not a force. Great. So gravity is not a
Yeah,
force.
I've not said that it's a force.
Okay.
Nobody
So
here has
the
said
thing about
gravity
Newton's
is a
law,
force.
You can't take it literally, but Newton himself didn't.
Oh, Newton didn't take it literally either. How do you have a force without acceleration again? Acceleration without a force?
No one's saying that there is. Again, I have made a, like, you are jumping ahead of things. I've made a observation, I've made a hypothesis, and I've made a prediction, all right? You just saying things doesn't change those being done, all right? You agreed that I made an observation.
No.
You've also agreed that I made a hypothesis, and now I've formed a prediction
I
from
never
that
agreed you made a hypothesis.
Right?
I told you you haven't even got a hypothesis. You haven't even got one IV. You haven't made up your mind what the IV is. You can't even define what gravity is in the first instance. You're telling me.
Who says that we need to be able to measure it or show that it's real?
If it's real, it would be measurable.
It is measurable.
What's measurable? Falling. Things falling.
Who says we have to define it to be able to measure it?
Okay. Please show me a force without physical. Show me acceleration without a physical force, please.
Okay, so where's the force of the acceleration here?
You picked it up. You put energy into the system. It's denser than the air around it. You literally added force into the system.
Anyway, so
hello, I'm waiting for you to back up your claim. Show me where you can have acceleration.
I made a prediction.
You made a claim. You made a claim that you can have acceleration without a force.
I have not. Please tell me exactly where I made that claim, Mr.
You said
Gaslight.
gravity caused an acceleration.
Gravity is an acceleration.
Oh, okay. So
Right.
please show me gravity then, please.
Right, so wait. Can we do one thing at a time, right? We were doing the hypothesis and prediction stuff first because that's what your mantra demanded, and now you're trying to get away from that with semantics games.
We're
about
not even
forces
getting
and
to an IV yet. I'm trying to first show you so you can actually get to the
how about
IV.
we do the hypothesis
That's why I have to be like
from
a child with you.
And you tell me where the hypothesis is specifically wrong, because remember, you read out the citation that says I can have multiple IVs.
Okay, I'm going to write it down even bigger this time. Okay,
Right, so
IV. What's your IV?
Okay, so my hypothesis is that there seems to be some kind of attractive force.
Okay, attractive
masses.
force. Is that your IV? Attractive force.
Never said it was. Maybe
That's what
Nixon-
IV is. When you set up a hypothesis, your IV is what causes the effect.
How many ears do you have? You've got two. How many mouths do you have? You have one. Try and use them in that relation, and instead of jumping in, let me finish.
Why are you trying to now try a really dumb add-on? But anyway, IV. What is your IV? First, what is your IV? It's a simple question.
Can I finish telling you my hypothesis first?
IV is a hypothesis, Craig. Don't you even know that? So no, you don't even know what a hypothesis is.
You numbnuts. What do you mean an IV is a hypothesis?
IV and DV is a hypothesis.
IV in your hypothesis.
IV and DV is a hypothesis. If you can't even give me an IV, you cannot have an hypothesis, Craig.
Tell you my hypothesis and you might hear the IV.
Okay, IV.
You keep it up to me so that you never hear
Okay,
the
just say
IV.
cause. What's your cause?
Well, maybe let me give you my hypothesis first
Cause.
before you start asking questions.
Cause.
Let me give you my hypothesis.
That's what a hypothesis
and then
is. Cause for
ask
effect.
questions.
What is your cause?
Can I give you my hypothesis? Yes or no?
Cause, please.
Can I give you my hypothesis?
Cause, please.
I haven't got to that part yet because I haven't told you my hypothesis because you won't shut up
Everybody
long
can
enough.
see the guy doesn't even know what a hypothesis is, everybody. Keep that in mind.
That may be the most ironic thing that I've ever heard in my life. I'm literally trying to tell you the hypothesis. You won't let me do that. And then you tell me that I don't know what the hypothesis is as I'm attempting to give it to you.
How hard is it to give me a IV? I mean, that's what a hypothesis is. So where's your
Well,
IV?
let me tell you the hypothesis.
Then
and
tell
you
me.
might
Instead of
hear
just
the
telling me
IV.
how you're going to tell me, just tell me.
No, I'm going to tell you the entire hypothesis. Okay? Now listen, do not interrupt. Let me finish the entire hypothesis. And then let's see if you can figure out what the IV was. My hypothesis for the observation I made is that there's an apparent attractive force between masses, and that apparent attractive force is dependent on the size of the masses and how big the masses are. There we go. Now,
Size of the masses, how big they are, is the same thing.
What do you think the IV there was? There was two of them. Let's see if you can gather it.
The size and the, what you said, the size of the thing and the, what, you say that last part again?
The distance between them.
No, you didn't say that. You said the size and the what?
And the distance between them.
No, you said the size and it's, you said the same
The
thing, just in
size
different
of the
words.
masses and the distance between them. That is what I said.
And that's the cause of something.
What do you think the IVs there were?
There wasn't an IV because you can't make up your mind.
There was two of them. There was two IVs there.
Okay, was it distance or size of mass?
Both of them. Those were the two IVs.
So you're saying correlation, so it's not scientific.
What do you mean correlation? I am saying that those are the things that when you change, it changes the dV, which is the force. Now,
Okay,
of course there's
okay,
a correlation.
okay, change-
That has to find out if there's causation. So those are the IV, the two IVs, which you've agreed we can have, are the size of the masses and the distance between the masses. You change those things and it alters the dV, which is the apparent attractive force.
So,
Manipulated, response to manipulation.
okay, so you're saying if I pick this up and this up, this is an IV.
I can't see what you're doing. Because,
Okay, I've got a mug in the one hand, a sippy cup, and I've got a little charger in that hand. They got two different masses. Is this an IV?
Well, what's your dV in this case?
I'm sticking to your so-called hypothesis. I picked it up.
Yes. So what's the masses? Which are the masses that you are saying there's a distance between?
Do you understand your contradiction here? They got
I
different
haven't
masses. Do they give this?
My IV is
do they
the size of the masses and the distance between the masses.
So,
with the things that you picked up,
is a hypothesis not supposed to be?
Are you trying to find the attractive force between the two things that you've picked up?
No, you are making assumptions about the attractive force. I'm telling you. Do you see your contradiction?
Absolutely, because that's what a hypothesis is.
Do
an
you
assumption,
see your,
yes.
no, a hypothesis is supposed to be black and white, clear and white to understand. Yours is not understandable.
assumption.
You have
Absolutely.
contradictions in your own statement.
No, I've had
See,
no
I have two
contradictions.
different masses in my hand. They're two different sizes with two different masses.
Yeah.
So you said if I have that, it's going to change the independent variable. What's going to happen if I
No,
drop
no.
it? I'm going to drop it, guys. Oh, wait. Did they drop at the same rate? Oh, golly me.
Yeah. So they had a different force.
Different masses with different sizes. Now I can
Yeah,
do the
so they
same.
had
And I'm going to do this again.
attractive
Let's
force.
going to do this again. Now with the pen and... Oh, shit. They follow at the same rate again.
Right. Flatzoid,
So,
now can I explain?
Let's do this now with the feather. I don't have a feather with me, but let's just say I drop the feather in a pen. The pen is going to fall faster than the feather now. Did the size of the feather count, or was it the aerodynamics?
Yeah, absolutely. The size of the feather counted.
Oh,
but
really?
the problem is
Aerodynamics is the thing here, Craig.
Wait,
the thing is you're making correlation based.
I'm so sorry. I am really sorry that the middle of my sentence interrupted the beginning of yours. That's incredibly rude of me.
Stop interrupting me while I'm making a statement.
I was literally talking and you interrupted
I'm
then.
explaining to you why your correlation based, not hypothesis, is not scientific.
Oh, it absolutely is a hypothesis.
You first of
Let
all,
me explain to you.
You haven't
you've
given
gone
a
wrong there.
proper IV. That's what I said. What is
I've
your
given you
IV?
IV.
Give me a clear cut IV. Just say,
given you
what is your
IV.
IV so I can write it down?
I've given you two IVs.
No, one IV, we want the cause for the effect, not
I've given you
causes.
two IVs. There's two IVs in my hypothesis.
We'll make
I've
two
given you-
hypotheses for you, okay? But first one, cause. What's your first cause?
This is my hypothesis.
What-
You don't get to change
what is
it.
your first
My
cause?
hypothesis has two IVs.
What is your first cause?
My hypothesis has two IVs.
What is your first cause?
My hypothesis.
What is your first cause?
The cause of the change of the attractive force could be the
Not-
change in the mass or the change of the distance
Okay,
between
change in mass. Okay.
them. Yeah.
Okay, and what
bigger
is
mass,
what
bigger
what
force.
is the DV for that? Okay. What is the DV for that change in mass?
The force, the attractive force.
Attractive force.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. Now you got it.
What is your null?
What is my null? My null hypothesis
That's what a null means,
is that
yes.
my null hypothesis is that there is no attractive force between masses.
Okay, and what is an attractive force?
What is an attractive force? Are you really asking that question? What is an attractive force?
I have to be like
it is a
I have to
force
actually
that attracts.
I have to, okay, it's attract.
It is a
Okay.
force that attracts.
So now change in mass. Guys,
This is
let's
brilliant.
test this out, guys. I'm going to actually literally test this on screen for you now.
So can I just explain to
Guys,
you where you went wrong? Demonstration.
Here's a mass, guys. I'm placing it.
Wait. Flatzoid, I was talking there. A sec.
Let's see if it's
Can I
going to
explain-
attract.
Flatzoid, I'm trying to talk. Can you hear me?
Okay, so it's attracting, guys, to this other larger mass next to it. Is it
Yes.
accelerating?
Can you hear me?
Has it got an attractive force?
He's just ignoring me now.
Yes, I am ignoring you because you're being a total dick. You cannot listen
No,
when
I'm
actually.
asking
I'm actually
you-
demonstrating.
I'm trying to have a
I'm
conversation
actually
with you.
demonstrating
I'm
to
trying
an
to explain
audience.
where you went wrong with your
I'm
little
actually
demonstration.
demonstrating an audience
Yes,
why
accelerated
this
speed,
idiotic
but they're
statement
going
is
to have
not a
different
hypothesis.
force applied to them.
Look. Remember, a hypothesis has to be very, very strict. It actually has to tell you what's going on. This is not telling you. See, look here. Is it
Yeah,
attracting?
You change the mass and you change the
Okay,
distance.
must I
you
change it to maybe I need a bigger or more mass ball. Maybe that's going to work.
Yeah, you do. You need really bigs. That's why you haven't. My hypothesis can stand whether you agree with it or not. My hypothesis can be whatever the fuck I want it to be. All right. The fact is, I have I have two IVs and I have a DV. Right. That's all I need. It's done. I have my hypothesis.
I've got something that's got nice mass. I think this is enough mass for you.
No, you're making
Nice Garrett
making an
Turbo.
assumption.
Let's see if this pin is going to actually be attracted to if I stick it next to it. Okay. Guys, let's see if this pin is going to be attracted to it. How long is this force of attraction supposed to have? Remember, I changed the mass.
Yeah. But the problem is that
Was there an
the
attractive force?
Far too small to do
I
that.
changed the mass. Was it attractive? Oh, so I must put another heavier mass next to it.
Sorry, listen for a second. The attractive force is
I'm
far.
showing you how idiotic your correlations are.
The attractive force is far too small to do what you're attempting to do there.
Is it?
Yeah. That's why my prediction.
Okay, come, let's put it. So,
wait,
in other
let me
words,
finish talking before you interrupt.
In
Let
other
me finish
words,
talking. That's why my prediction was Fg equals G M1 M2 over R squared.
I
The
thought
attractive force.
equations are not
Listen,
science.
Listen to these words. Listen to these words. The apparent attractive force is proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So with those things that you've got in front of you attempting to say, why aren't they sticking together? Can you please give me the masses and then the distance between them and then do the
I
maths in
don't
my
need
prediction?
to. I'm just stating your so-called hypothesis and showing you why it's bullcrap. Because it's
Well, no,
correlation
you're not,
based.
because you haven't listened to what my,
An
specifics-
equation, remember we did this the last debate. Math is not science. Your equation
I never
is
said it was.
correlative.
I never said
It's
it
not
was.
causative.
My prediction.
You
can
having
be
a
the-
description, listen, you having a description with an equation is not helping this idiotic hypothesis.
No, again,
So,
the
did we
prediction-
see an attractive force when I
you
changed the
stop
masses?
interrupting me when I'm talking. Right, you
no.
literally won't listen to anything
What
that I say.
about cranes when they have wrecking balls? Do they all of a sudden get attracted to buildings next to them?
Guys, here's the thing. He's far too scared to actually have a proper conversation because he knows he's got nothing. He won't respond to anything that I say, and he's too scared to actually listen and respond. All he's going to do is talk over me and pretend that he's got me in some kind of gotcha, when all he's doing is making up his own hypothesis and ignoring mine.
Are you done yet?
Now, Flatzoid, are you going to listen?
Are you done yet?
I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay?
You haven't actually answered any of my questions yet, so why must I
I've
answer your
answered
questions?
every single one of your
You
questions.
still haven't
The problem-
shown me acceleration without a force.
Never said that I could.
But gravity is not a force. So how do you have acceleration without a force and still attribute it to gravity?
None of that is anything to do with my hypothesis or prediction. You're just making things up.
Did you not just say you're proving gravity? That's what this whole thing is about.
No,
Does gravity exist?
We've gone through that.
So gravity is not proven. 100% agree.
Well, there's mathematical proof of gravity, absolutely.
Again, maths is not reality. We did this in the last debate where I took the ice back and showed you this. Remember when you try to correlate belief of looking in the sky and thinking it's science? It's the same thing. You're making correlation-based observation. Listen, you're making correlation-based observation and then calling it science.
Correlation-based observation. So are you saying that I cannot make a correlation in my hypothesis? Are you saying there is no correlation between the IV and the DV?
I'm saying
is that your claim?
Cause. Science is simply the cause and effect. Correlation is not scientific.
Are you saying there is no correlation between the IV and the DV, yes or no?
Obviously it had to be because you observed it, but your hypothesis, listen, your hypothesis is not correlative. Your hypothesis is simply causative.
Yeah, and if you change the maths and if you change the distance,
the maths is not physical, it's a description. Maths is description, it's a language. So changing the maths is not changing what you're manipulating anything.
You can literally changing the mass is a manipulation of the IV.
What is mass?
Sorry?
What is mass?
We've gone through that.
Is it inertia? Is mass inertia or is inertia mass? Because they seem to have the same description.
Answer.
Is mass inertia? Is mass inertia?
Asked and answered.
Is mass inertia? Yes or no?
Asked and answered.
It's a yes or no question. Is mass inertia?
I've already answered that question. Maybe your inability to convert short-term to long-term memory is affecting you again.
Guys, you see, you cannot answer a simple yes or no question.
You don't want to go round and round and round.
This is what happens when he knows he's getting caught.
I've done my prediction.
Is mass inertia? Okay, let's ask a different question. Why is mass and inertia got the same definition?
Mass and inertia do not have the same definition.
Okay, quickly pull it up and look
Mass
yourself.
is resistance to inertia.
And what's inertia?
Mass is resistance to inertia.
And what's inertia?
Inertia is a measure of the movement of an object.
Please say it properly.
But what do you want?
Inertia resists change in motion.
We're going to go back to the hypothesis, and you're going to explain to me how my hypothesis is fake and not real, based on the fact that we change the IV, the DV will change in my hypothesis. All right. Now, the thing about a hypothesis is it's an assumption. We're saying this is what I think is going to happen. I'm not saying that is happening. I'm saying this is what I think will happen. Right? So you adding all this nonsense to it doesn't change the fact that it's still a hypothesis with IV and a DV.
Can I point out to everybody?
IVs, I'm still talking right now. You change the IVs
you can talk
and you
over me
have
all the time.
Corresponding change in the DV. That is my hypothesis. Right? That is my assumption. That is what I think is the cause of my observation. Right? You can't argue with that because that is my assumption.
How do you know what the cause? How do you know what the cause is? If you got more than one IV.
I'm making an assumption. I am saying that's what I think it could be. I'm not saying that's what it is. Because that's not what a hypothesis is. A hypothesis is a tentative guess, and my hypothesis can be whatever I want it to be. Whatever I want it to be, as long as you can form a prediction that's testable using that hypothesis, and I can.
Okay.
That's all the...
Okay, you finished it, Craig?
Yeah, so we've done the hypothesis.
So if you got more than one IV, how do you know what the cause would be? If you got more than one IV, how do you know what the cause would be?
Well, the two IVs change the DV. Either of them changing affect the DV.
Sorry, then you don't know what the cause is. That's correlative. That means you've made a pseudoscientific, not hypothesis.
No, it means I've made an assumption, which is what a hypothesis is.
It's simply an empirical method. Remember we went through this last debate? It has no bias
you agree it's an assumption?
You assume the cause for the effect observed. You understand? So
I'm sorry,
when you do,
citation says you can have more than one IV. You read that yourself.
and I showed you why it's a pseudoscientific paper. Anyway.
Oh, no, because you disagree with it, it means it's pseudoscientific. No, I'm sorry, we're going to go
because
we're going to go with the citation.
Social sciences is not science. Do you know what natural science
with
is,
the citation,
Craig?
not what you think
Do you
about
know
the
what
citation.
natural science is, Craig?
It's just science.
Oh, does natural science mean it's about the natural world? What we can observe in nature, and we figure out the cause for the effect in nature? Is that natural science?
What does natural mean in science?
I just asked you a question, you're not answering me. Is that natural science?
Yes, because natural in
Great.
science means...
So is social, tell me how you're going to manipulate anything in social sciences to call it science.
I'm not talking about that. This is debates about
You
gravity.
just brought up the citation that says goes against my word. I'm telling you what pseudoscience is straight.
No, I brought up your own citation.
And I told you why it's pseudoscience, because social sciences
I don't care what
science.
you think. Your citation
I
is
don't
what
care
we're
what
going
you
to go
think.
with.
Science also doesn't care what anyone thinks, because science doesn't care. It's a simple and empirical
Yes,
method.
science doesn't care about your...
It's a method.
What you think.
Do you understand what? Do you understand?
Agree with
Do you understand what a method means, Craig?
Yeah, the scientific method is a fantastic thing
So,
that we can use.
if I set up a cause for an effect and I test it out, that is it. It's got no. Oh, I think there's something else also attributing to this. Oh wait, it has to be a mass accelerating. I don't think it's a force, but it has to be accelerating. Do you understand the problem here?
No, not at all.
You have not even established what gravity is yet. We haven't even got past the step one. What is gravity?
Can you please give me a citation that says I have to define gravity to be able to measure it and say that it's real?
Can I say you are just actually measuring relative density disequilibrium, but because you've got a belief in gravity, you've put gravity into the equations. Therefore, it means that you hijacking relative density disequilibrium.
I'm completely wrong about that. All the experiments for gravity.
So denser objects don't fall through less dense medium, which is scientifically validated.
Really? So can you explain to me why the glass of water on my desk isn't falling through the MDF desk?
He actually asked this, guys. I actually posted this on my page in the week. Because
is it
a
more dense
glass
or is it
is
less
a
dense?
solid. A desk is a solid. It's a solid.
Did I just disprove your hypothesis?
What hypothesis? I didn't give an hypothesis. I gave you an explanation, a description of RDD. I didn't give an hypothesis. You want me to give you an hypothesis? You want me to give me a hypothesis, Craig?
You just gave me a hypothesis.
You want me to give you a hypothesis, Craig?
You just gave me a hypothesis.
I didn't. I gave you a description of RDD, not a hypothesis. You want me to give you a hypothesis, Craig? Because you still haven't seemed to disprove my previous one.
Yeah.
Then again, you didn't actually bring any hypothesis yet.
So anyway, my hypothesis is valid as a hypothesis, whether you think it is or not, because my hypothesis can be whatever I want it to be, and my IV and my DD can be whatever I want it to be.
So in other words, you're just proving you are having correlation and not causation, which is not scientific. Pseudoscience.
No, I'm showing that if you change one thing, it alters the other. So there's the cause and effect.
What did you change? I changed the mass, I changed the distance, nothing happened.
Well, it's because the attractive force is very, very small.
But where was that in your IV? Where was that in your hypothesis? Oh wait, there wasn't in your
where was that in my hypothesis? You changed the mass,
which I did.
Changed the distance,
which I did.
The attractive force.
And
nowhere have I stated how strong that is, because I haven't got to that. That's in my prediction.
So you wouldn't be able to get to that point because it would be invalidated straight from experimentation, would it not?
Well, we have to make a prediction before we can experiment.
And I experimented on your hypothesis, which debunked it. So the null was approved. Because the turbo did not get attracted to the pen, or the pen attracted the turbo, even if I changed the distance and the masses.
You skipped a step. You skipped a step of your mantra of scientific method. You skipped the prediction.
You predicted that the one mass with distance change will have a force of attraction to each other. That did not happen.
That was a hypothesis. Never actually gave you a prediction.
That is
my
a prediction.
specifically, I want you to listen to these
And
words.
your prediction is, I predict that changing the mass or distance would cause an attractive force. So in other words, the attractive force is not the cause is mass.
Why won't you let me give you my prediction?
Go on.
Oh, right, okay. I'm allowed to give you my prediction now. Do I have your permission for that?
Go
Fantastic.
on.
Right. So my prediction, and I want you to really listen, is that the apparent attractive force is proportional to the product of the two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them.
Great.
Okay?
And which vector would that
That
be?
is my prediction.
And which vector would that be?
Which means the attractive force is very, very small and depends specifically on how big the masses are. And a tiny mass like this, it does not have enough mass to create the force to attract anything that is smaller than it.
So,
Because everything else is busy being attracted to the massive, massive mass below us. My prediction,
massive
something
mass.
that I
Sorry.
now test. My prediction specifically talks about how the attractive force is proportional to the product of the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So that is something that I can specifically experiment on because I've made a very specific prediction based on my hypothesis.
So now it was a prediction.
And the perfect experiment to match my prediction is any version of the Cavendish.
Oh, Cavendish was not an experiment, remember? Cavendish was a demonstration on torsion twist.
Disagree.
You know what torsion twist is because of torque, you know? It's kind of a
Yeah,
man-made
but
apparatus.
so an experiment. An experiment.
No, it's,
that
what's
says
the IV in the
some-
Cavendish? Oh wait, you tried to say it's the distance of the masses.
What is the IV in the Cavendish? The IV in the Cavendish it was the distance between the masses. Well, yeah. Well, actually, the square of the distance between the masses.
And what are the controls?
What are the controls? The control variables would be the size of the masses, because they never change, so that's a good control variable.
Go on. Should be much more than that. There's so much variables that can alter why it moves.
Why do I need more than one control variable?
You know, why did they use a quartz string in the first instance with the original Cavendish?
Why? Because that was something they could put a torsion balance on.
Okay. Why is it that it is called oscillation because of torsion twist?
Yeah, that's what we expect to happen when we introduce the masses. That's part of the experiment.
So it creates torque, you know?
Yeah.
Wow,
Absolutely.
so
And
you're measuring torque.
That is something to
Are you
measure.
measuring acceleration or are you measuring torque?
The dV could be the torque on the on.
So
the
not
wire.
gravity
That's
then, not distance, great. Remember, torque is distance dependent.
The IV is the distance. Do you know the difference between an IV and a DV? I don't think you do, because you keep getting them mixed up.
DV is the effect, IV is the cause. You seem to not being able to understand that.
There we go. So there we go. Here we go. IV, distance between the masses. DV, torque applied to wire. You change the IV.
The torque.
You physically manipulate.
The torque is the cause.
Let me finish. You physically manipulate the IV by changing the distance between the masses.
So torque.
And that gives a
What is
change.
R? What is R in torque?
Are you going to keep interrupting whilst I'm talking? Yeah, you are, aren't you? Right. I'm going to start again. Let's see if you can keep shut while I'm talking. Right. The IV, the thing that you physically manipulate, is the distance between the masses. And this, the DV, which is the torque applied to the wire. That is what we expect to happen if gravity applies an attractive force between masses.
Sorry, but you just said torque is the reason. So
No, I
torque
said
is the
torque is what-
torque is the reason
Torque-
you have them attracting each other, not gravity.
You got IV and DV the wrong way round.
I'm sorry. If there was no torque, would there be attractive masses between each other?
the torque is a result of the fact that the masses are being pulled together, because we predicted that it will cause an attractive force. That attractive force is going to make the bar turn, which is going to put torque onto the wire.
You don't get it,
So
do you?
you change the IV, which is the distance between the masses. That is something you physically manipulate.
Okay, and what
You
happens?
get
What happens if you add
change.
masses?
I'm still talking.
What
You
happens?
then get change in the amount of torque applied to the wire, which is the dV.
Okay, then explain to me why you don't get any result if you have masses that are not heavy enough, denser enough, to actually create torque to move it. Do you get the same effect? With the same distance, by the way, just
That's
your
the way
masses
you change.
aren't having enough density to create enough torque. Would you have the same effect?
The size of the masses will also change the.
So it's torque that actually.
But that's not what we were doing. That's not what we were doing in this
So
experiment.
torque is the
control-
actual cause for the mass attracting mass,
listen,
people.
Listen, the control in this experiment was the size of the masses. It could be electrostatics, it could be magnetism, it could be air currents. These are all controls. I am not changing the size of the masses. You don't get to say that changing the size of the masses, because that's not part of my experiment, right? My experiment is keeping the masses the same. That's a control, right? So don't tell me about changing the masses, because that's not part of the experiment.
You don't get it, do you?
Right?
It's showing.
No, you don't get it.
It's showing. I've just disproved your so-called hypothesis because I changed the mass that they caused no effect and the same distance. And
Yeah,
one of your
it does change it.
IVs was
Okay, so we
changing.
can redo
Listen,
the competition.
one of your
Wait.
IVs was changing the mass, and the other one was distance. So I kept the distance the same. I just
In the
changed the
hypothesis,
mass.
yeah, right.
I just
Yeah, here
changed.
we go.
I
Right.
just.
Wait.
Why won't you let me talk, Craig? You like doing this. And why would
Right,
it be if I
finish
change
what you're
the
saying.
mass
Right, finish what you're saying,
to not
then I'll
have
respond.
enough torque, you don't get the effect observed. So that means that your previous hypothesis is now disproved, which is not a hypothesis. That's why I'm saying it wasn't, because once a hypothesis is validated, it stays validated. Therefore, you do not have a valid hypothesis. Thank you.
Once a hypothesis
Thank you for
is validated, it's validated.
Thank you for
said- can I-
providing evidence for everybody to show you're a pseudoscientist, which only works with correlation-based and not causation-based.
Everything you just said was wrong. Right,
Everything.
so my hypothesis.
So torque didn't
Okay.
cause movement.
Wait, I'm talking now. Right, I let you talk, so now
You talk all the time. That's the problem. You don't. I have to actually interrupt so I can get a word in.
No, I'm going to talk, and you're going to listen.
No,
So,
you won't tell me
my
what to do, Craig. That's not how it works.
You're going to listen. There's
No,
a good way to
you
do it.
don't tell me what to do, Craig.
I can. I just did.
Is that
so? Here's
so?
the thing. My
Guys,
hypothesis.
I'm going
had
to
two
actually
IVs,
mute Craig
right?
now if he's
But my
going to go on like this, and I'm not going to converse with him because he's being a dick.
Because you don't want to listen. Because
I
you're
am
scared to
listening
give
more than
the
I.
question.
You don't want me to
That's
actually
it,
give
you're-
You don't want me to actually
You're
give
scared to hear
statements.
the explanation.
You don't want to give me
You're
let me give
scared.
statements
You're scared,
because you
aren't you?
talk over me the
You're
whole
scared,
time.
aren't you?
You don't want
You're
me to
scared,
give,
aren't you?
You don't want me to give
won't- you won't let me
statements. You don't want me to give statements because you talk over me the
I
whole
gave you
time
that, now it's.
and
I'm
obfuscate.
waiting.
Listen, this is supposed
Is
to be.
it my turn? Can I?
No, it's
can I
not your
finish
turn
my-
because I'm still talking. You see
You had
words
your
coming
turn.
out my
You
mouth.
had your turn. Now I'm going to
I
respond.
haven't had my turn because you interrupting
You
while I'm
literally
talking.
had your turn where you talked about changing the masses and stuff, and now it's my turn to respond to that. So thank you. Right. So my hypothesis had two IVs, but my experiment only had one. My experiment had one IV, and the control was the size of the masses. But here's the thing. I can actually switch it up and change the experiment. I can change the experiment and make it so that the control would be the distance between the masses, but I can change the size of the masses. And if I change the size of the masses enough, there will also be a different torque applied to the wire. So one experiment, I will have the IV as the distance and the control as the size of the masses. And then in another experiment, I will have the IV as the size of the masses and the control as the distance between them. And those two experiments will both match the prediction following from my hypothesis. And they will both show that there will be a torque applied to the wire because there is an apparent attractive force. Why else would there be torque applied to the wire when you change the IV if there wasn't an attractive force? Whether or not you think these things are pseudoscientific, doesn't matter because science disagrees with you specifically. I have now finished.
Great. So, in other words, you don't understand how you just explained it. Torque is your phenomena.
I didn't say that at all. Nice gaslighting.
What is torque, Craig?
It's a twist in force.
Caused by what?
It's a measure of a force of twist. It can be caused by lots of different things.
You see this
An engine
gesture?
can
This explains torque.
I can put torque onto this pen by twisting like that. Torque is just force, but in twisting.
So you're trying to say your gravity, that's not a force. The force of attraction is actually torque. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, not at all. Nice gaslighting.
You just said Cavendish experiment is validating gravity as a force, accelerator force, and the accelerator force demonstrated in the Cavendish is just torque. Very odd. So
I'm saying torque is a result of the forces being applied.
So torque is your accelerative force then. So not gravity then, it's torque.
That's
Guys,
not a thing.
if you pick up something and let it go, it's not called gravity, we're going to call it torque from now on. Whoop! I just applied torque to it because that's what the Cavendish proved, guys. That's what it validated. Torque. This is an accelerator. That's why Cavendish is not. That's why Cavendish is not a experiment. It's a demonstration for a correlative belief. I can't make it any more clearer for you.
I've just explained how it's
You just demolished your own argument by explaining it.
Doesn't stop it being an experiment.
And this is what I tried to tell Blue Marble Science when he did his so-called Cavendish.
His actual Cavendish, which is in a university at the moment.
And it's not an experiment. I just explained why.
Apart from all of science disagrees with you. Why do you think that is?
All of pseudoscience disagrees with me because all of pseudoscience is consensus-based.
Every single physicist in the world, every single scientist in the world, every single person who has ever taken a physics course, every single physics teacher, every single professor, every single person with a master's or a PhD in physics, every single engineer on the planet disagrees with you. Why do you think that is?
What is opinions disagree got to do with science again? Oh wait, nothing. But pseudoscience has opinions and disagreeing.
In the world disagree with you.
But
why do you think you are the only person
science
has this opinion?
I don't have an opinion. Science doesn't have opinion. You are the one bringing opinions into this, which is pseudoscientific, Craig.
What everybody else in the world of science is.
Craig,
so why do you
consensus?
Right, all of the scientists are wrong.
Appealing to authority is not a way of science.
Again, I'm just asking you a question. Why do you think that you're right, but every scientist, physicist, engineer, teacher, student, and anyone who's ever used physics in history is wrong? But
show me one person that disagrees with me that torque was the cause of the accelerator force there. Show me one person that torque did not cause the accelerator force.
Everybody in the world would disagree with you.
You just said it 5 minutes ago. It was the reason.
I never said nice gaslighting. Can you please cite?
Do you even know what gaslighting is? You like saying I'm gaslighting, but do you know you just said that 5 minutes ago? The reason was the torque, why it moved together.
Pretending that I've said them. You're trying to make me think that I've said things that are crazy. You are literally trying to gaslight me because you're too stupid to understand the things that you are saying.
No, I'm too stupid because I'm telling you apparatus which is based on torque. Hence why he tried to measure the density is because of torque oscillations is not torque. You ever read the actual data from the Cavendish? Do you know what the data states? Do you know what the data states? You know what that means? Where that says the torque twisting. You know what that means?
What does it mean? Please tell me.
Torque is the actual cause. Because you are measuring torque, twist,
is the result,
torsion, twist.
Not the cause.
You're measuring torsion, twist.
The cause, the dV is the result.
The result is it's moving.
The other way.
You measuring.
Wait, 1 second.
You measuring torsion twist from why? Because of the torque.
Please, 1 second. 1 second, Flatzoid. Right. You keep saying that torque is the cause, but torque is the dV not the IV.
No, the torsion twist is the DV.
Listen,
The torsion
DV is
twist.
the result,
The torsion
not the
twist.
cause.
The torsion twist is the DV because that's the effect of the torque.
That's the effect. The torque itself is what's happening. Right? That is the result of what's happening.
Show me torsion
The
twist
torque.
without torque, please. Show me
So
torsion
they
twist.
both have-
Show
you
me
can't have one
torsion
without
twist
the other.
without the torque, please.
You can't have one without the other.
Torque causes torsion twist. Voila, end of story.
Okay, so what was the thing that actually caused that to happen in the first place? Why did that torque appear?
Because you put weight onto it. It's denser than the medium
Weight.
around it, so it's causing
no,
stress.
torque-
It's causing
hold on.
stress. You want me to explain, but you don't
Pulling
want me to
down
explain.
doesn't
So it's
cause torque.
causing
Pulling down does
stress.
not cause torque. Pulling down doesn't cause torque. Putting weights on something doesn't cause torque.
Guys, he says putting weights on things, so that's what the whole Cavendish is built upon, is density of the weights. Now he's saying putting something that doesn't
Not
cause
if-
torque.
It's a horizontal thing, not a vertical thing. What are you on about?
The weights are balanced on a rod.
It's not about the
It
it's
gives
not
a
about the weight
stress.
pulling down. That's not what it's measuring.
What does the R stand? What does the
Oh
R?
my god!
What does the R stand for
Oh
in
my
torque
god!
vectoring?
Oh my god! I've just got it! I've just got it! I've just got it!
What does the R stand for in torque vectoring, Craig?
I've
that be
just got it! I've just got
distance?
it! You think that the torque is a result of weights pulling down? Is that right?
No, the vector is causing a torque vector. You understand? It has to have a
Where-
force.
which
The
way is
force
vector?
is
Which
due
way
to
is
the
vector?
weights. It's due to the
Which way
weights.
is the vector?
Down.
Horizontal or is it vertical?
Do you know what this means? Do you know what this means?
Which way is the vector? Is it horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal. The force
So side
makes
to
it
side,
horizontal.
not up and down.
This guy, it's perpendicular. Do you know how?
Right, so not up and down.
have you
So
ever-
what the fuck
can you see
does
my hand?
density have to do with it?
Can you see my hand, Craig? Can you see my hand?
No, I can't see the hand. I'm not looking at your stream.
Have you
But
ever
what
done
does
the right hand
dens-
rule for torque
What
before?
does
Have you ever
density
done?
have to do?
What does density have to do? The whole Cavendish demonstration is about density. Why do you think he was
No,
trying?
it's not. Who told you that?
He was trying to measure the density of Earth, Craig. Did you not know this?
Yeah, that's not what the torque is. The torque isn't dense.
Guys, I'm literally.
measured the density
I
of the
can't
Earth by
believe someone can be so
counting
dumb.
the actual gravity.
I literally
Like,
can't
good.
believe someone can be so dumb.
Oh,
Maybe I should get some paper on it.
let me
I
just
cannot believe this.
once again. So you think that density has anything to do with the torque being applied to the wire?
No shit, Sherlock.
I just want you to answer yes or no. Do you think density has anything to do with the torque being applied to the wire?
Yes, because density is mass. Guys, can you hear that laugh? This is a guy that's laughing because he doesn't understand how torque works. Let's see, torsion wire. What is this L? What is that? Why is there a torsion wire? If you change the mass, why does it cause more acceleration or less acceleration? Craig?
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? I know, torque.
Wait, sorry. You changed the mass. Are you talking specifically about the Cavendish experiment or just in general?
We've been talking about the Cavendish the whole time, have we not?
Well, okay, so you jump about so often, it's hard to keep track. Yeah, if you change the mass, or if you change the distances between them,
Oh,
that will
now
change.
changing the mass changes, but you just told me it doesn't. Ah.
No, I didn't. Let's say that.
You just said it like 2 seconds ago. You even laughed about it because I said the density causes the torque. Guys, let's see. Torque. A force that tends to cause rotation. Oopsie, what does the Cavendish show,
Literally
guys?
rotating force. That, it's literally a measure
Apply torque
of
or
of
twisting
rotation
force to an object to gently torque the hip joint. What does the R mean in torque? Would that be distance? Let's see, what is perpendicular? What is torque? Perpendicular distance. Force is down, the pivot that way. Hello? Why is it that everything I'm showing is validating what I said and showing Craig to be a complete
Nothing is
numbskull?
validating what you're saying because everything you've said is complete nonsense.
I just showed everybody on screen. I just showed everybody on screen that you are a clown.
Please explain to me in the Cavendish experiment how density can change the torque.
More dense the object, the more stress you put on the rod, the more torque it is applied thanks to the vector. So therefore it has more force to be able to twist. Therefore you're getting your accelerator force, you could say.
Sorry. Say that again from the start.
Okay, let me make this. Have you ever seen a construction? Have you ever seen construction when they have a beam?
One sec.
Do you want me to explain it? Do you want me to explain it to you or not, Craig?
Yeah, I want to get the thought out. Let me get the thought out, okay? Specifically, because I need this answer specifically. Just explain to me exactly how density changes the torque applied to the wire that the torsion bar is holding on to.
The more mass you have, the more force you have.
More mass you have, yeah.
Density is mass, is it not?
No.
Guys, you heard it. Density is not mass. Wow. I'm sorry.
You think
Since when does density not mass?
I mean, since always.
Please show me density without mass.
I didn't say that. You just said that density equals mass. Is that your claim?
Density is mass.
No, it's not. It's a measure.
This pen has density, which is mass, compared to this cup, which has density, which is mass. It's the mass crammed into per cubic volume. Do you understand? That's what density is.
Hey, Toon, if you're watching, could you please clip that part of me where he's just said that
Please do, McToon. Oh, by the way, McToon is on the chopping block tomorrow night with his so-called son disproved on the FE. So guys might want to stay tuned for that because the guy is just like this guy tonight.
And clip that part where you just told me that density equals mass. Because, I mean...
Equals? I didn't say those words. I didn't say density equals mass. Please don't say...
You just said literally density is mass.
Yes.
I said, are you telling me that density equals mass? And you said yes.
I didn't say equals, I said density is mass. There's a difference. Because you cannot have density without...
Density is mass is different.
You cannot have density without the mass. You cannot have the mass without the density. They are the same thing.
Do me a favor. Define density.
It's the crammed mass in a cubic volume.
The amount of mass in an object.
So if you cram more mass in an object, is it got more density? Is it more heavier? Has it got more mass?
Did you say if you put more mass? No, you can have objects of the same mass with different density. You know that, right?
Let's put it this way. A centimeter cube of water is less dense than a centimeter cube of mercury, correct?
Don't skip over my question. Don't skip over my question. Do you know that you can have objects of different densities with the same mass?
No, shit, Sherlock. Because things have different amounts of mass crammed into density.
Therefore, density isn't mass.
Really? Show me density.
They are related, but they are not the same thing.
What happens?
And the fact just doubled down
what
on
happens?
What happens? Is going to be your thumbnail.
What happens? What happens when you let's say you go to the gym and you pick up a kilogram. Obviously, you're probably going to pick up a kilogram. I pick up more like 5 to 10. But anyway, you pick up 5 kilograms dumbbell.
I don't think you realize how strong I am.
Okay, 5 to 10 kilograms. And you decide you're going to add more weight to it. Let's say you add... No. Can I finish my statement? Can I finish my statement? Can I finish my statement? Anyway, you're adding another 5 kilograms. So now let's say it's 20 kgs. Does it have more density to it per cube? Or does it have way more? No, he's actually trying to... Is that a 2.5 or a 5 kg? He actually...
Sorry. Did you just try and flex on me? Did you just try and say that you could bench or lift more than me?
Yes, I can. That's for sure.
Really?
Yes.
You really think that? Even though I'm a disabled veteran.
What kilogram was that? Was that a 2.5 or a 5 kg?
This is 4.5.
Okay, there we go. That's like little pinky weight for me. So sorry. Anyway.
Of course.
Like I was saying, if I add another 5 kg to it, is it heavier?
Yeah, but is it more dense?
Okay, so I added more weight onto the same dumbbell. Is there more mass with more density in the same dumbbell area that I'm picking it up?
No, you have not increased the density. You've just put more mass there.
More mass means more density. Do you not know?
No, you have not increased the density. You have put more mass there.
Mass? Mass is the amount of... Listen, density is the mass... Listen, can I finish my statement, for God's sake? You never shut the hell up.
My turn to explain,
I'm still talking. I'm still talking. Guys, I'm going to mute him.
Add another 5 to the side. That hasn't changed how dense it is. That's changed how much mass there is.
I never said you've changed how dense it is. Don't misrepresent. I'm not saying how dense you've changed it. I'm saying you need to add more mass to make it heavier. Therefore, you're adding more density to the equation.
No, the density is the same.
Per cube, it's the same.
Just because you added more mass, you haven't increased the density.
Per cube, it's the same. If you add 2 cups, I have a cup, it's got the density per cube. Understand? I'm adding another cup to it. It's got, again, I'm plussing another cup. It's got more density. Weight cannot exist without density.
The same. The mass just gets more. Oh my God.
The mass becomes more. You're adding more density.
You're not. The density stays the same. You don't change the density of something
stays the same.
How much there is.
Per cube, the density stays the same. I 100% agree with that. It doesn't change. But you're adding more substance to hold up. Do you understand? Because you're adding another cup.
And the density of that substance hasn't increased. The density has stayed the same. The density would only get
density per cube stays the same. Density per cube stays the same, but the weight is more because you're putting more of a density. You're putting more substance into the system. You understand?
Mass, not more density.
Does this pen have density or not?
The density will stay exactly.
Does it have density?
Yes, the density
is it a measured weight? Is it a measured weight? Is it a measured weight, Craig?
Is what a measured weight?
The pen, the density, is it a measured weight?
No, density isn't the measured weight.
Does this pen have a measured weight?
The pen has weight, yes.
Okay.
The pen also has density.
Would this weight exist without density?
Would this weight exist without density? Density is a measure of mass in an object.
So it's got substance. So in other words, density is what gives it substance. That's what gives it weight.
No.
Show me weight without the density, please. I would like to see it. Show me. Show me weight without density. Please go ahead.
Gaslighting. I never said I could.
I just explained it to you. Show me weight without density.
I never said I could.
Okay, well, anyway, back to my point. When you add more density or weight to the system, like the Cavendish, you create more force, which creates more torque.
When did you add more density to the Cavendish?
By adding larger masses.
Sorry?
By adding larger masses.
No, a larger mass doesn't increase the density, it increases the mass.
You are, again, misrepresenting what I'm saying. You are adding more denser objects.
No, you're not. You're adding objects of the same density with different masses.
If I have a 2 kilogram mass hanging and I decide to take it off and put a 5 kilogram mass there, is it now got the same mass, the same density?
Yes. No. Yes, it's got the same density.
Okay, one was gold, one was iron. Now, do they have the same density?
No, they're different. Now they're
Okay,
different.
thank you. So,
Right.
density, you cannot have mass, you
if you
cannot
have
have
a
weight
5
without...
kilogram iron weight and a 2 kilogram iron weight, they both have the same density.
No shit, Sherlock. I'm not saying they don't. They still have per
You
cubic meter the
literally
same.
said they
No,
don't about 100 times.
I'm trying to explain. You have extra weight when you add more density, more substance. The pen has more density. I've added to the cup. The cup has more weight now. It's not gravity pulling it down. It's simply got more mass. It's got more weight.
What's weight? Define weight.
The pressure exerted on a scale.
Incorrect. Define weight.
Pressure exerted on a scale. How do you measure weight, Craig?
Incorrect.
How do you measure
How do
weight,
you
Craig? How do you measure weight?
Weight is the measure of mass times gravitational acceleration.
How do you
Actual
measure
depth.
weight? Have you ever used a scale before?
Yes, it's mass times gravitational acceleration.
Have you ever used a scale before?
Absolutely.
How
Mass
does a
times
scale
gravitational
work?
acceleration.
How does a scale work?
By putting a mass on it and applying a gravitational acceleration.
No. It's a pressure. It works on pressure.
Yeah, because you've applied a mass, a gravitational acceleration to a mass.
No.
Creating a pressure.
If I'm pushing the scale down with my hand, am I applying gravitational acceleration or am I pressing on it? Am I causing a pressure on it?
Yeah, the acceleration acting on the mass creates a pressure.
Oh, so I'm gravity now. My arm is gravity.
Nice gaslighting.
The strength. I'm just telling you, is pressure gravity now?
No one said that.
You just
Amazing
said
how
that.
much you gaslight.
You
it really
know
is.
what? You know how a scale works, Craig.
Yes, I do. Which
Explain.
type of scale do you mean? So spring-loaded, balanced scales, which kind?
Anyone balanced? I like balanced.
Well, balanced scales are actually a measure of density, but
Oof. Thank you. Okay, now we can move on to spring-loaded. It's also fine. How does spring-loaded work?
by applying a gravitational acceleration to a mass.
No, applying a pressure.
And how do you get the pressure? So wait, so according to you,
What is
mass
pressure?
equals-
What is pressure?
equals weight. Pressure.
Does density cause pressure, Craig?
Well, I've just asked you what is pressure, so tell us.
Pressing. A force exerted
Pressure
pressing
is
on a
pressing.
surface. That's pressure.
That it. How do you calculate pressure?
I'm not trying to calculate pressure. We are trying to figure out how.
You are. You're
No,
asking
you're
what is
trying to
pressure.
obfuscate from what the argument now is. What?
Like, how
does-
would you? Like, what units that you
what is-
measure pressure in?
Again, I work with scales every day, Craig.
Oh,
That's
so
what I'm
what
trying-
units do you measure pressure in then?
I'm not measuring pressure now. I'm trying to explain to you how scales work because you're pushing pressure
Told me
onto the
scales
scale.
work by measuring pressure. That was literally the words that came out of your mouth.
It's measuring pressure, yes.
All right. Okay. So please tell me how you measure pressure. What units are pressure measured in?
It depends what scale you want. What's the unit you want
No,
to
what
use?
units are pressure measured in?
PSI usually.
PSI. Yeah.
go on.
One way of saying it. How do you
what's the
calculate
problem?
pressure?
What's that got to do with my argument that I'm presenting, Craig? What has that got to do with my argument I'm presenting, Craig? Why are you obfuscating?
Because you said it was pressure pushing on the scales. So I'm asking you to
Because
define pressure.
density is why we have the weight, not gravity. Even though you put gravity in your equation, it's not gravity. Remember, you can't even define gravity. You've shown you don't know what torque
Yeah,
is.
it's an
You've
apparent
shown you just shown
attractive force.
correlation-based deductives. You don't even have, you only have opinions so far and beliefs on what you think gravity is. You can't even give a proper hypothesis that can be tested.
I gave
You think
an
a
exact
demonstration of torque is gravity. You think weight has anything to do with gravity just because it's in an equation that we've
It's
shown,
literally how to calculate.
which we've
You know,
shown.
as a sub-partner who's had to do these
It's
calculations,
density.
so that I could survive.
Sorry, just because the equation puts
I'm
G.
just wondering,
Sorry,
if you work
Craig.
with
Just
students
because
every
just
day-
because you put G into equation doesn't make gravity real. That's a reification. You do know I can just change the G to relative density disequilibrium. It will give exactly the same
You
results.
can't because
I can
actually
call it
changes-
unicorn farts if I want to, Craig. Just because I changed to unicorn farts, does that make unicorn farts now the replacement for gravity?
Well, no, because that's not
Because
what
it's
it is.
going
You
to
can
work.
change-
It's going to
Hold on.
work. The
It doesn't
equation
make-
is always going to work. It has the same values,
I
just
want
with
to
a
go back
different
to
name.
pressure because I want to go back to pressure because you're talking specifically about pressure
Scales.
and how it causes scales. So, what's the SI units for pressure?
I don't know. You tell me.
You don't. Well, no, sorry. You're the one that's saying
Again.
it's pressure that causes, right? So,
Press.
How would you know that?
press,
How do you measure
press.
pressure?
Do you know what pressing means? Do you know what pressing means?
yeah, I know what pressing means, but
So-
you said pressure.
So back to
pressing.
my argument. When I put something on a scale, is gravity pulling that thing down to give the measure, or is that object pressing on the scale, which gives the reading?
The mass has a gravitational acceleration acting on it.
Again, where did you cut that? Where did you work that out? You haven't even established it has an acceleration. First of all, you said gravity is not a force, so it cannot have acceleration. When you do try and prove your acceleration, you prove it as just torque.
Torque was a result. It was the dV.
No,
You don't know what-
torsion twist was the result of torque. Maybe you don't understand that. Very simple thing.
Define torsion twist.
It's the twist. There we go, the oscillation twist.
Define torsion twist specifically.
I just did. So,
The twist. No, that's wrong. Define torsion twist.
I just did.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You just said
It's the twist.
That's not the definition
It's
of
the
torsion
twist caused by the torque. I
So
even
does
had
the
on
torque-
screen a few minutes
twist
ago.
or torsion twist causes the torque. Well, which one is it? Get it straight.
Torque causes torsion twist.
But you just said torsion twist causes torque.
No, I didn't. Maybe you should clean out that ears of yours. Torque
You did it. You literally did. Those are your
Torque
words.
causes torsion twist. The torque
What-
is
torsion twist
causing
isn't
the
like-
twist, the oscillation. Do you get
and
that?
where did that come from? What made that happen?
The dense masses that cannot be supported by the air around it. So it causes
but wait,
stress
that
on,
would mean
so it
downwards,
causes
right?
stress on the
Right?
beam. So it
So that-
causes
wait,
stress on the beam.
Hold on.
So it
Before
causes
you even-
stress on the beam that causes it to have the torque twist.
Right. So you're saying the fact that there's no support underneath the masses is causing there to be a torque on the wire. Is that right?
Yes, the wire is holding all the weight, is it not?
Right. Okay. So please explain to me how a downward vector causes a torque, which is a rotational force.
Can you see my hand?
No, I can't.
Okay, I don't know how I'm going to show it to you. But, it's like a right-hand rule for torque. The force, which comes in the vector, is then perpendicular to the force outwards. Do you understand? So if the
Okay.
force is coming
A downward
vertically,
force cannot
it's
create a
going-
torque on it.
I don't understand how you cannot get this, guys. This is like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
The torque is created by the movement horizontally, not downwards.
No, the torsion twist is horizontally caused by the vector, aka the torque vector, vertically.
The torque vector vertically. What the fuck are you talking?
The force of the torque.
Right. Okay.
Remember,
you don't know
the
what
weight,
the Cavendish experiment.
The weight.
You haven't a clue what the Cavendish. I figured it out. You don't know what the Cavendish experiment is.
The weights are hanging what? Horizontally or vertically? Are the weights-
Everything hangs horizontally, but that isn't what causes
Everything
the torque
hangs
on the wire.
horizontally. Sorry,
Wait,
is the
I'm
weight
talking.
is the weight at the
I'm-
same altitude
I'm
as
talking.
the string and
That's
the
why
same
I'm talking.
altitude
Wait,
as
I'm talking. Wait.
the rod?
Wait. Let me explain. You seem very, very confused about the Cavendish experiment.
No,
right?
you are.
It's not the
I've shown it for
downward
people on
force.
screen, by the way.
Wait, let me finish. It's not the downward force that causes the torque on the wire, right? It's when you introduce the masses closer to each other, you move the big mass closer to the little mass, that's on the end of the bar, right? And that makes the little mass
Introducing
move towards
speech
the
one.
big mass, which twists the bar and puts torque onto that wire. That torque isn't caused by anything being pulled down, it's caused by the bar rotating, making it twist. Oh my God.
Guys, on screen again, where's this force showing for the torque? I know Craig can't see it, but maybe he should just go and click what is torque on Google quickly, and then he'll see.
I'm a physics and an engine. I've got 2 degrees, one in physics, one in engineering. Torque is a measure of twist, not pulling down.
Ah, so the twist is due to torque. Thanks for debunking your own argument, Craig.
What? That's what it is, you fucking... Right.
That's what I've been saying this
Give
whole
me 2 minutes.
time,
Give me
Craig.
2 minutes, give me 2 minutes to talk and don't interrupt, okay? 2 minutes to talk and do not interrupt, okay? The point of the Cavendish is this. The entire apparatus is under the same gravitational acceleration.
No gravitational
There is-
acceleration, that's a reification.
Wait.
You haven't
No,
proven
it's not.
gravity yet to be able to say that.
That's just a fact.
No.
Right? Everything
You haven't
has the
proven it.
same downwards acceleration acting on it, okay? Everything. That's just a fact. That's why it's set up like that. It's all hanging. It all has the same downward pressure, acceleration, gravity, whatever you want to describe it as, the entire thing has that same thing acting downwards on it, okay? But then, what you do is that bar that's hanging, so you've got the wire hanging down and the bar attached to it, you make that bar twist. That is the aim of the experiment. You are introducing the larger mass to the smaller mass, which is on the end of the bar, making that bar twist. That twisting of the bar, that rotation of the bar, applies a torque to the wire. That is where you get the torque from in the experiment. Nothing in the experiment is anything to do with it being pulled, not where the torque comes from. The torque specifically comes from the rotation of the small masses. That is what the Cavendish experiment is. You seem very confused as to what it actually is.
The torque is due to the force pulling it down, which gives the effect of torsion twist. I've got it on screen now. I've got it on screen for everybody to see while you show what a moron you are.
Are you really saying that you think torque is a measure of pulling down on something rather than twisting?
Twisting is torsion, which is created from the torque.
And how does things pulling down cause it being twisted?
Stress on the system. The distance is what gives it that stress. That's what R stands for in the equation. Distance. Do you not understand that?
What distance from what, Flatzoid? What do you think that the distance from?
That rod gives the distance.
That rod, the distance. Yeah, but what is that in torque?
What do you mean? What is that in torque?
Yeah,
It's the distance.
How are you applying that to torque?
I don't know how I'm going to show this right-hand rule if the guy can't even see my screen.
I'm just trying to read what do. In the same way, the force applied to object will cause it to move linearly. Oh my God, you're literally showing something that debunks you.
Oh, there we go, right-hand rule. Do you know what the right-hand rule is?
Applied to an object will cause it to move linearly, right? A torque applied to an object will cause it to rotate around a pivot point. Pivot point is known as the axis of rotation, and the perpendicular distance of the force from the axis of rotation is known as the moment arm. This is why torque is also referred to the moment of force.
Have you seen what the right-hand rule is, Craig?
The amount of torque applied isn't to do with it pulling down. The amount of torque applied is to how much that is twisting. That's where you get torque from.
Torsion
It's
twist.
literally
Torsion
twisting
twist.
force.
Torsion twist is the measure of the torque, Craig.
It's literally what torque is. Torque is literally a measure of twisting force. It's the word for force, but in a twisting. That's what it is, right?
Are you telling me? Are you telling me the twist is what?
One sec. In physics, that's how you use it, right? In physics, is literally force, but twisting. That's what it is.
Have you ever bent a prop shaft before on a truck or something?
many times.
What caused that to happen? Was it the twist or was it the torque?
Well, usually it would be hitting a bump.
No, I'm talking about when you have something, let's say a drag car with a nice prop shaft, and it seems to, when you put too much power, you put too much torque in the system, what happens to that prop shaft?
Well, it would usually snap.
It twists, does it not?
Because there's a...
What caused that twist? Was it the twist that caused the torque, or was it the torque that caused the twist?
The torque is the measure of the twist.
I'm sorry.
The torque is literally the measure of twisting force.
Just give me 2 seconds. I just want to go to the bathroom quickly. I can't take this anymore. This guy.
He doesn't understand that torque is a measure of twisting force. Like, I don't know how else to explain it to him. He thinks torque is like, you know, you pull something and it applies torque to it. Torque is literally a measure of, you know, like if I got this pen and I twist it like that, you know, I've got one hand twisting this way, one hand going the other way, and it's applying a torque to the middle of it. It's applying the twisting force. Like he's no idea what he's talking about, like from beginning to end. I need to go grab a drink. I'll be back in 2 secs. Flatzoid, I'm just going to grab a drink. I'll be back in 2 secs.
Okay. Okay. Does he really have to have his music on? Because I don't like when he has music on, because last time when he had the music on, it was kind of... Can you not mute your music, Craig? Because last time your music kind of copyright strike me, dude. So can you just put off your music, please, Craig? Craig, your music. Craig, your music. Craig, your music. Craig, your music, please. Oh man, this is like really instant. I have to talk over it the whole time so it just doesn't copyright strike me for it. Sorry guys. Unfortunately I have to do this. I wanted to actually explain. Torsion is the twisting of a beam under action. Okay, let's see if I can get that on screen quickly for you guys. Torsion is the twisting of a beam under the action of torque. Twisting moment. Torsion, not torque, Sprague. Do you understand that? It's a system that applied screws, nuts,
Okay.
Torque.
Here we are. Right.
So let's go. Torsion is the twisting of a beam under the action of torque. What did that tell you guys?
Exactly.
So
torque is the measure of the twist.
Torque is the action. Do you understand? Torque is the action.
What's torque measured in?
What's torque measured in? Torque causes the torsion.
What is torque measured in?
We're not getting there until you actually understand that torsion is the twisting of the beam under the action of torque. That's what I tried to explain.
What is torque measured in?
I don't care. Anyway.
No, that actually debunks you.
No, it doesn't. Torsion is the twisting of a beam under the action of torque. Do you get what that means?
Exactly.
So torque is the cause of torsion twist, you numbskull. Do you understand?
And you don't get one or the other, but that entire thing, the reason torque was applied was because of the bar twisting in the Cavendish experiment, right?
Sorry, you saying you don't get twist, you can only get torque if you have torsion twist. Is that what you're telling me?
And you can only get torque if you have torsion twist. Torque is a measure of twisting force.
Torsion twist is the effect of torque, you dumb.
Right, define torque.
I just did. It's the action perpendicular to which causes the rotation.
And how do you measure torque?
With force.
What's the units for it?
SI. Newtons.
No, try again.
Torque is measured in newtons. Have you ever used a torsion bar?
Yeah, try again. Torque is not measured in newtons. Keep going.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to look this up.
You don't know what torque is measured in, do you?
Oh, torque measured in newtons. Torque is a measure of how much twist applied faster in the SI. Torque is measured in Newton meters. Tell me again I'm wrong.
Not newtons.
It
not
says it on
newtons,
screen.
Newton meters or pound feet.
Oh, wow.
Pound foot.
Okay, Newton meters. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
Newtons.
not newtons. No, it's not the same thing as newtons.
Newton meters. That's what I said.
No, you didn't. You just said newtons.
Okay, well, Newton meters. Sorry.
Yeah.
SI.
Right. So, torque is a literal measure of twisting force, right? That's what it measured. That's what the
So
Newton meters measure,
torque,
is how much
force-
twisting force is being applied to
I'm
something,
going to read
right?
this word for word. Try pay attention. Torque is a measure of how much twisting is applied to a fastener. Do you
That's
understand?
exactly the words that just came out of my mouth.
So, do you understand? The twisting is the dV, the torque is the IV.
No, because I didn't change. I didn't manipulate the twisting. I manipulated the distance between the masses. So
Now
the
I have
IV,
it again. I have another one.
The IV has to be
Torsion.
something you physically manipulate.
Listen.
Do we agree? Do we agree that the IV has to be something that you manipulate? Because that's your mantra, right? You have to
Yes.
manipulate the IV.
Yes.
Right.
So when
and
you have
what
a
is the
torsion
thing?
bar-
And what is the thing that I manipulate in the Cavendish experiment? What is the thing that I manipulate?
The density of the masses and the distance.
Right. So we're just doing the one thing.
So
right. And in the
that
big Cavendish experiment-
caused torque,
Hold on,
not
hold on,
acceleration
hold on.
of
We're just
gravity.
doing the one. We're just doing the one. The control in this one is the size of the masses, so we're not changing those, right?
But again, it's not
So
an experiment, so
what is the IV? The IV would be the distance between the masses, right?
which is torque. Torque is distance between
the
distance.
The IV is the distance between the masses. That isn't torque. That is a distance.
So if you change the distance, does the torque vectoring change?
If you, I hope you just listened to what you said there. If you change the distance, the amount of torque changes. Do you agree?
Yes, because torque causes the twist.
So what was the IV?
There was no IV. It's not an experiment.
Wait. So I manipulated something. I changed something. So there's an
changed
independent
the
variable. What did I
distance.
change? I changed the distance.
Which caused
So
what?
that was the thing. that
Which
manipulated.
caused what?
Do you agree? Do you agree that the manipulation of the distance between the masses caused a torque to be applied to the wire?
Wow, so not acceleration by gravity. You just debunked your whole argument that it was proving gravity.
Totally
It's
not.
You literally
Do
just
you agree?
proved my point that the Cavendish
you
is
agree?
only causing
agree?
torque vectoring.
Do
Guys,
you
you just
agree,
heard it
yes
out of his
or
own
no?
mouth.
Do you
Torque
agree, yes or
vectoring.
no? But Flatzoid, I would like a yes or a no from you. Do you agree, yes or no, that a change in the distance between the masses caused a change in the torque applied to the wire? Do you agree, yes or no?
Yes, because that's the actual thing. It's the demonstrated, what I'm saying. It's not
And
acceleration.
that matches, and there we go. So thank you very much. You have now said that my experiment shows what my prediction said would happen,
What experiment?
which was based on my hypothesis, which was based on my observation. Game, set, and match. Chess, mate.
Do you understand? I know you have a bit understanding problems, but when you just said the cause...
Understanding.
Listen, the cause for seeing what you're seeing is due to torque, means that it's not gravity, it's torque. Torque is the reason you
Incorrect.
see your
What was my prediction?
acceleration. Do you understand?
Incorrect.
Do you
Incorrect. What was my prediction?
Do you understand that that was the words coming out of your mouth?
Incorrect. What was my prediction? What was my prediction, Flatzoid? You're changing what my prediction was. What was my prediction?
You're changing the distance, which causes torque.
No. What was my prediction?
You said the distance would move the masses towards each other.
No. My prediction based on my hypothesis. What was it?
You never had
Very
a hypothesis.
specific. I did. I absolutely did. You keep saying this, but that's because you're thick as fuck. But what was my
Everybody in my chat is laughing at you now because they can see you don't
No,
understand
everyone in
what you
your
just
chat is
said
laughing.
out of your own mouth. Do you understand? When you're saying
Everyone in
Cavendish...
your-
Okay,
let me go
let me say,
check.
is Cavendish evidence for gravity? Is Cavendish evidence for gravity?
So I'm looking at your chat now and no one's laughing at me. Why did you lie?
Oh really? Everybody, are you laughing at Craig? Yes. Well done.
You
Okay.
just said
Yes.
that everyone's laughing at me.
Oh,
you said that,
actually read
no
up
one's
and you'll
laughing at
see.
me.
Yes. Hey FTFE. Yes. Talk. Everybody. Yeah. FTFE is laughing. Okay. Anyway, so would you answer me? Does Cavendish?
Go on then.
Does Cavendish? Is Cavendish evidence for gravity?
Yes, absolutely, because it matches my predictions from my hypothesis from my observation. Boom,
So
done.
guys, he just proved that Cavendish is first of all not experiment. He only works with
I'm reading
correlations.
that now.
Can I finish my statement? He only works with correlations.
No, I'm laughing at you, Flatzoid predictive.
He only works with correlations, not science.
We're laughing. Blargo
It's-
says we're laughing at you. According to your chat, they're laughing at you, not me.
No, everybody's laughing at you. I am sure. Oh, it's beyond laughing at him.
I'm reading your chat and everyone's laughing at you.
Can you read? I got this on. Maybe I should. Oh, guys.
Pat, I'm reading your chat now. Pat in the chat. FTFE, I am laughing directly at Flatzoid. Lumpy gas in the vacuum. FTFE, I am beyond laughing at him. Blargo, we're laughing at you, Flatzoid. So yeah, according to your chat, they're laughing at you and not me.
Guys, you do know everybody that's saying yes is laughing at you, Craig.
They're literally saying the words, I am laughing at
Okay,
Flatzoid.
guys, we're going to put this to a poll. Say 1 for laughing at Craig, 2 for laughing at Flatzoid. How's that sound? Because it seems too much for him to understand what yes means. So 1 for Craig, 2 for
They're laughing
Flatzoid.
at you, Flatzoid. I am for sure. I am beyond laughing at him. Hey FTFE, we just witnessed the dismantling of flats. Feel a bit sorry for him.
Oh.
I'm only seeing 2 so far.
Yeah, because those are globe trolls. But I like what I'm saying here. Check here. Is gravity real? Out of 226 votes, yes, 59%, no, 41%. That's quite close. I'm actually surprised. 1-1, 2-2.
They got it right though. Well done, guys.
Everybody that's in here that says 2, even a 3. Wow, wow. 24. Nice one, Blogger.
The majority of them are laughing at you, Flatzoid.
And I wonder why, because they stock accounts and trolls. You know that.
No, because everything you've said is so stupid. You think that torque is a measure of downward force and not a twisting force. You think that the,
no, I never said that.
the torque applied to the wire in the Cavendish experiment is a result of a change in density. This is fucking hilarious. You don't even know what an IV and a DV
why
is.
are you
and you
misrepresenting
know
me,
you can
Craig?
have multiple IVs in a hypothesis. You disagree with that because you don't like it, but science has always said you can have multiple IVs in a hypothesis. There's no one that's ever said that you can. You guys made that up.
How are you going to get your cause for effect if you have more than one IV, correct? You still haven't answered me
Test
that.
them both individually in the experiment.
So 2 different experiments, 2 different hypotheses.
You can do multiple experiments on the same hypothesis. Did you not know that was a thing?
If you have a hypothesis, you stick to the hypothesis. Otherwise, it's not science.
Yes, and you can do multiple experiments to test the same hypothesis. Changing the experiment does not change the hypothesis.
Should we go back to the boiling water one, heat energy?
This
The
is
one
about
that you
gravity.
tried to disprove.
I can debunk your hypothesis, right? I can debunk your hypothesis because your hypothesis was I apply heat energy, water boils. So how come when I pick up a glass of water and apply the heat energy from my hand to it, it doesn't boil?
That's just nonsensical. You do know that you actually have to apply enough
I just
heat
debunked
energy.
your hypothesis.
You have to add enough heat.
I debunked your hypothesis, did I not?
No, because you can still
What's
go
your
and
hypothesis?
add heat energy and the water will boil.
Yes or no? Was your hypothesis apply heat energy, water boils? Yeah.
Yes, but did I say hand heat energy?
Exactly right. So
That's
if
just
I apply
idiotic.
the heat energy from my hand, because we can all agree there's heat energy coming from my hand, right? When I apply that heat energy to water, why doesn't it boil?
Sorry,
I just debunked your hypothesis.
I thought science is quantitative, is it not?
You didn't state any quantities.
But you have to know if you had heat energy, you have to add enough heat energy to make it boil, do you not?
That wasn't your hypothesis. Your hypothesis just said heat.
The cause for the effect, it's not saying enough heat energy. That's just idiotic. That just means you are straw manning the argument and showing you don't know what a hypothesis is.
You didn't form your hypothesis properly because I debunked your hypothesis by picking up a glass of water and it failed to boil.
That's just idiotic.
Oh, sorry, do you disagree with me?
Yes, I
that
do
when
disagree
I pick up
with
a
you.
glass of water, I'm applying heat energy?
No, I don't disagree. You're not giving enough heat energy, because that's idiotic.
So you're changing your hypothesis? then?
Have you ever seen someone boil water with their hands?
No?
So there we
So I
go. You're
debunked
going
your
against
hypothesis.
observations. In reality, you've already debunked yourself, because that's not what you
No, I
observe.
debunked your hypothesis.
That's not
your
what.
hypothesis.
That's not what you
your
observe in
hypothesis
reality.
was
That's not what you
Your
observe in reality.
hypothesis was simply, I apply heat energy, the water boils. That
And-
is debunked every time I pick up a glass of water.
No, that's not. It just means you are trying to strawman what the actual hypothesis is.
No. So, at what point did I strawman the hypothesis?
Pick up glass of water, therefore not boil. That's not an experiment.
Absolutely. Experiment.
That's not
I'm
an
applying
experiment.
heat energy. I am applying heat energy as per your hypothesis.
You're creating a straw man
And the-
because you're not giving enough heat energy. That's nonsensical. No one is going to say
But your
boiling water
hypothesis
with a
didn't
hand.
say enough heat energy.
Oh,
your
yes, guys.
hypothesis simply said apply heat energy.
So, does that mean you have to actually apply enough heat energy to get it? Because
I don't know, your hypothesis
You're not
says
you're not
so.
just going to go to a stove and just put
You
it
tell
on
me
one.
earlier that your
Listen,
hypothesis is very
when you do
clear.
an experiment, you're not just going to go to a stove and just go on one. Oh, I can see it's not giving enough heat energy, but hey, my hypothesis is not working because I only give little bit. No, you actually go and you give
Yeah,
enough
so
heat
debunk
energy
your hypothesis
because that's
was that.
part of the control.
Well, you didn't state that. You simply said, I apply heat energy to water and it boils. You didn't state anything about amounts or enough or anything. You simply said,
I say anything about
I apply
amounts
heat
now?
energy and the water boils. I can debunk that.
Then you've just debunked the whole of science, saying heat energy.
No, I
doesn't
haven't. I
boil.
just debunked your hypothesis.
No, that wasn't my hypothesis, by the way. That was a scientific
It was. I
hypothesis
asked you and you said yes.
taken from scientific journals. But anyway, heat energy does boil water. Can you disprove that heat energy does not boil water, Craig?
Yeah, I can disprove heat energy boiling water. Yeah.
Show me. Make sure you add enough heat energy, by the way.
Oh no, that wasn't the thing. You didn't ask that. You simply said, can you disprove heat energy boiling
Do you
water?
go to a
Yes,
stove and you put on the kettle? Oh, let's go to the kettle. You boil it. Is the heat energy being transferred to boil it in the kettle?
that wasn't your question.
Okay, if you go to the stove and you put a pot of water on, you stick the heat on and you wait for it to boil. Is there enough heat energy to make it boil?
If I put my stove on to
if
one,
you go to a
and
hot
put it on
spring
one-
in nature and you see it's boiling, is there enough heat
Flatzoid,
energy to create that?
Flatzoid, hold on. Flatzoid, if I go to my stove and I put a pot of water on it and I put the stove onto one, it won't boil.
No shit, because you're not giving enough heat energy. That's just non-idiot. That's idiotic.
Did I apply heat energy, yes or no?
Not enough.
No, did I apply heat energy,
Not
yes
enough.
or no?
Not enough, because that's an idiotic. You're going
No,
against the action.
not enough isn't part of it. Did I apply heat energy, yes or no?
Not enough.
Yes or no, Flatzoid?
Not
It's a
enough.
yes or no
That's
question.
dishonest. It's dishonest to say you're not applying enough heat energy, because that's not what.
Your
that's the-
hypothesis didn't say anything about enough.
Really?
Maybe
What is
you
the
need to-
boiling point of water? What is the boiling point of water, Craig?
72 degrees centigrade.
100 degrees centigrade.
No, it's 72 degrees centigrade.
100 degrees centigrade is the boiling point of water, because that's when it goes through phase change.
Well, no, I can make water boil at 72 degrees centigrade.
You can. Please show us this.
Yeah, I can make water boil at 15 degrees centigrade.
Yeah, but I'm talking about 1 atmospheric pressure. Remember, that was the control.
Oh, you didn't say that, so maybe you need to refine your
I
hypothesis
just
again.
told you it was in the control, 1 atmospheric pressure, if you forgot about
No, it wasn't. You didn't say that.
Yes, I did. But anyway, like I'm saying,
I was listening. You didn't say that.
At what temperature does water boil at 1 atmospheric pressure?
Approximately 100 degrees centigrade.
Okay, great. So, now you know water boils at that. Okay, that's the set bar. That's the control. You know it boils at that. Why are you going to stick it to 1 and think, oh, it's going to get 100 degrees to watch if it boils or not?
I never said.
You're going
Right, your
against.
hypothesis
You're going
said
against.
nothing.
You're going
Your
against.
hypothesis
You're
nothing about
going
any of that.
against the hypothesis.
These are things-
You're changing it because you're not putting enough heat energy because it's being dishonest.
You're the one changing it. Your hypothesis said nothing about any of those things. Your hypothesis said
Boiling
nothing
water.
about.
Boiling
Your hypothesis
water.
said nothing about the atmospheric pressure. Your
yes, it did.
hypothesis, and I got you to confirm this. Your hypothesis
One
was
atmospheric
simply
pressure.
to apply heat energy
Maybe
to
you should
water.
go back and listen,
boil.
Craig. Again, boiling water is the key word here at 1 atmospheric pressure. Boiling water requires enough heat energy. So when you apply heat
Enough?
energy, you
Yes.
know it
Not
needs
just-
enough heat energy to boil. So you're not just going to stick it on 1 because then you're ignoring the hypothesis. You are putting
I'm not.
subjective
Your hypothesis
reasoning.
didn't say about amounts of heat energy.
Sorry?
Your hypothesis said nothing about the amount of heat energy.
It does. What is boiling?
Your hypothesis said nothing about the amount of
What
heat
is
energy.
boiling? What
that
is
makes the
boiling?
water boil.
What is boiling?
Right. Tell me your hypothesis again.
Heat energy causes water to boil at 1 atmospheric pressure. What
Okay,
is
I can debunk
water
that.
boiling? What is water boiling? Does that have a certain amount of energy needed to have it boiling? A certain amount of temperature?
Say that. You didn't say that. You just said heat
That's
energy.
what water boiling is. You don't literally have to
didn't
say add enough heat
you
energy.
did not. Hold on. You did not say an amount of heat energy makes water boil.
I
You
didn't say that
simply
now.
said at 1 atmospheric pressure,
Water
heat energy make water boil.
Water boiling
That was it.
constitutes enough heat energy because water boiling means it has to go
No,
through a
that's not
phase
what you
change.
said.
What is water
That's
boiling,
not
Craig?
what you said at all.
What is
That is
water
not what
boiling?
you said at all.
What is water boiling, Craig?
Water boiling is a phase change, but you never said that.
Does it have a certain amount of temperature to get that phase change?
Yeah, but that
So
wasn't your
does it need
hypothesis.
an amount of heat energy?
Your hypothesis didn't say
Does it
anything
need
about
an amount? Does it need...
Your hypothesis didn't
I
say
don't
that.
need to
you are
say the
changing
amount.
your hypothesis.
I don't need to say the amount because water boiling is the
Yes,
amount,
you do.
dumb cop.
Because I can debunk your
You
hypothesis.
don't.
Easily.
You simply ignoring you ignoring boiling water. The word boiling water means
not.
enough heat energy. Do you get
Your
what boiling water
hypothesis
means?
is that energy will make water boil.
Okay.
That's it.
Let's do your distance one again. If you change the distance, would it give an effect? What if I don't change the distance? Is it going to give the
So
same
you don't
effect?
change the distance and you haven't manipulated the IV.
It's the same with the heat energy. You don't add enough heat energy, you're not going to manipulate the IV.
What's the IV in your hypothesis?
Heat energy causes water to boil. The water boiling,
No.
the water
What is
boiling
the IV
is the
in your
control.
hypothesis?
Heat energy.
Just heat energy. That it.
Yeah, but you know the DV is water boiling. That means you have to add enough of it to make it boil because water boils at a certain
didn't say that.
temperature. You're just ignoring what water boiling is.
You didn't say that.
I don't
You
have
just-
to say it.
The words that came out of your mouth are this, all right? And tell me if I'm strawmanning you here, right? But the words that came out of your mouth are: at 1 atmospheric pressure, heat energy will make water boil. Is that correct?
Correct, because heat energy applied does cause
Okay.
water to boil. You're ignoring the word water boiling.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to
because
see if that is
water
true.
boiling.
Right? Because your
Water
hypothesis
boiling is a
is
constituent.
that something causes something else, right? So if I can test that by applying heat energy and it not making water boil, I've disproven your hypothesis.
No, you are just straw manning and you're
Yes.
ignoring what water boiling is.
Is water boiling the IV or the
please
DV?
go to any flippin' university or anybody and tell them, listen, I don't. If I add heat energy, water does not boil. Please go, so they can laugh at you. Go. Because as soon as
No,
you say
they
water,
agree
listen,
with me that
as soon
I
as you're
can apply
saying
heat
water
energy and not
boil,
make water boil.
as soon as you're saying water boil, it means it has to go through a phase change. That means you have to add enough heat energy. It's just logical inference. It's not your idiotic saying,
I'm
you know,
sorry, but
a cup
the
of water.
hypothesis contain logical inference, or is that just you not defining your hypothesis correctly?
It is defined. Boiling water. Are you so dumb? Boiling.
Boiling
Can you
water
read my
is your
lips?
D.
Which requires
It's
enough heat
effect.
energy. Do you know what boiling is?
Say enough heat energy. That wasn't your words.
What is boiling water? Define boiling water for us, please, Craig.
I already did that. Asked and answered.
What is define boiling water? Because then it's just going to debunk your whole argument. Oh, so boiling water is what? Phase change at a what temperature? At a certain temperature.
I know I've trapped him on gravity, so he had to change the subject. I'm fine with that. I know I've destroyed him on gravity.
You haven't even defined gravity. You debunked your gravity.
Now I'm destroying him on his stupid hypothesis. So don't think I've let him slither away. I allowed that to happen to show how scared he was.
Guys. You allowed that. Listen here, Craig. First of all, you haven't defined gravity. You've proved
I don't need to.
Cavendish is
citation that says I need to define gravity.
Cavendish is not an experiment, only a demonstration of torque, not
Incorrect.
acceleration.
It's an experiment.
You've shown that you cannot even understand what torque is. You've shown that
Incorrect. The
you
engineer
cannot
knows
prove,
exactly.
and you've shown that you cannot prove gravity.
You didn't even know what it was measured in,
You
or how it's
cannot prove that acceleration can be caused without something physical, because gravity is not a force. Heck, you can't even define what it is.
Right, again, can I have a citation that
And
says I
now
need to define
you show you don't even know how to read an hypothesis because you don't understand what boiling water means. So you have to straw man with idiotic assumptions that I'm adding water.
Here we go. So Jeffrey Sloan in my chat actually gives a very good point. So I can give an infinite amount of heat energy to water without it boiling if the time it takes to give the energy is slower than the water is releasing that energy. So it's actually fairly easy to debunk your hypothesis.
Say again?
Well, all of it?
Yeah, say again.
So I can give an infinite amount of heat energy and the water wouldn't boil if the time it takes to give energy is slower than the water releasing the energy.
Okay, remember I did a video where I took a hot pot and I threw water over it and it gave what? And what happened? Did it start boiling straight away?
Listen to what I said.
What has time got to do? What has time got to do with this hypothesis?
I'm just saying that I can debunk your hypothesis by
Infinite
applying
amount
that
of heat energy. You know how much that is, because if I have a pot of hot water, I'm sorry, I just debunked that because a pot of, and I throw the water in, it's already heated up. It's going to start boiling in immediately. So
But no, you haven't debunked
that
anything because
goes
I can
against what he
apply
just
an
said.
Infinite amount of heat. Right. Listen to these words, Flatzoid. I could apply
Do you know what
an infinite amount of heat energy to water and it wouldn't boil.
Please show me that, because you know
All we have to
how
do it slowly enough.
You know what
All we
conductivity
have
is.
to do is do it slowly enough that the time to impart the energy isn't as fast as the water is releasing the energy.
You do
And I
know when
debunked your hypothesis once again.
eventually get to a certain amount, it's going to boil, no matter how slow you get to that amount.
Absolutely not at all. Not if the energy being imparted is slower than the energy
how
being...
long? Okay, let's take a hot spring for instance. How long does it take for it to start boiling?
A hot spring is doing it a lot faster. My point is that I can apply an infinite amount of heat energy over a very long period of time and the water will never boil, because the energy stored in the water will be released faster than the heat energy can impart energy to the molecules in the water.
You said infinite energy. That means it can be 10,000 degrees. Do you understand that?
No.
What does infinitely mean then?
And infinite just means a lot, forever. So I could
a lot
apply
forever.
But
So
listen,
in other words, it will boil.
I could listen. I could apply 0.2 degrees of heat
That's not
energy.
infinite energy.
Infinite amount of time.
I didn't say anything about time in my hypothesis. Are you understanding? You changed in the hypothesis. Thank you, Godzilla,
No,
for
I
your
haven't
super
changed the
chat. All
hypothesis.
horizontals
I'm
are
following
person,
your hypothesis.
parallel, and all FTEs are snakes. 100% agree, Godzilla. You do know it is getting quite late here.
literally
It's like
following
12
your
a.m.
hypothesis,
It's
right?
like 12 o'clock, and I must get up for work in like 4 hours. So I don't really want to do this forever, but I have to just say thank you, Craig, for showing you absolutely have no idea what gravity is, and you have failed to prove
I'll
gravity.
take things didn't happen for 500, please, Regis.
So yeah, he actually thinks I care what
Flatzoid,
his trolls
it has been
say.
fun. I do appreciate you taking the time. I hope that your internet issues not get sorted. And you know what? The fact that your fans have supported you for the uninterruptible power supply is actually awesome. You know I think you're an idiot, and I know that you think I'm an idiot, but I'm glad that we can have these conversations. And I would actually love to continue it at some point down the line, because I think talking to you is infinitely fun, and I need a bit more material for your episode of Thirsty Idiots.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming and displaying your lack of scientific knowledge. Thank you very much.
Okay. I really do appreciate your performance of, how can I put it, looking in the mirror and projecting onto me. So thanks.
Brilliant. Take it easy. Cheers there.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Cheers, man. Oh, okay. Can you believe it? Guys, the guy thinks his arguments are actually helping him. I don't know how much more I can make it. Yes, McFlatty, thank you. I don't know how to get it through to the guy. The way he comes up, he likes to obfuscate, and he brings the trolls in here, and then they think that's somehow affecting everything. By someone. Good to see you guys for being here. But yeah, it is getting kind of late. So did he prove gravity, guys? I'm going to change the poll. Is gravity real? Yes and no. I'm going to end it. Yes is 66 minutes. Obviously it was all the trolls. After 290. Craig. Prove gravity. I did try very hard to keep my wits in with him. But he likes to misrepresent, don't you guys see that? He loves to try and misrepresent what I'm saying so he can obfuscate and go. The trolls are still coming in, yes. No, 48%. There's still a lot of trolls in here, so obviously I'm going to expect this. But no, he did not prove gravity because he cannot even define gravity. Yes, top left, congratulations if that means anything to me. Remember to show this to Craig next time and tell him, where's the talk again? Yeah. Jolly man, yeah, good to see you guys. All horizontals are parallel, a globe left with exactly Godzilla. The funny thing is these globe guys think we actually give a damn about what their opinions are. I mean, that's what Craig's been showing this whole time. He doesn't have science, he only has correlation-based opinions. I mean, this is his so-called hypothesis.
That was bloody exhausting, Flatzoid. Bloody exhausting.
Change in mass. DV, attractive force. And what was his DV with, what was the actual course with Cavendish? Torque. That's what I was hoping he was going to bring Cavendish up, because I knew he was going to go and actually debunk himself. So, did you at least enjoy it?
I did. I enjoyed it, but his fans kept us
Kept you very busy.
on our toes. Kept us on our toes. But yeah, things like density isn't mass, and oh my God, what are you meant to say to that?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said just show me, but he can't show me.
No, exactly, and he couldn't. All he could do was do his obnoxious, infernal laugh, and I thought he was going to be good to start off with. The way he started the show, he was polite. Within 2 minutes, that was it. He was off.
Yeah, no, but I was expecting that.
Crazy.
I was actually thinking he was
I think next time a moderator would be good.
We actually wanted a moderator, but he doesn't want to go to modern day debates. He doesn't like James Kunz because he says he's not.
Well, I usually find James is quite when I've watched MDD, he's usually quite fair. If not a little bit biased on the Globe side. Do you know what I mean? But he does kind of step back, doesn't he?
No, because the last time he was on there, he was pleading for James to help him, and then James just told him, listen, yeah, if you're not confident enough to fight your own battles, that doesn't really show well for you. And that's the last time he went on. That's why, because he thought James was going to stick up for him.
He can't act like a petulant child there and get away with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We did try and organise a moderator tonight, but unfortunately we couldn't get it organised at such short notice. And obviously,
I mean,
I don't care about the
with
moderator,
someone-
but he's going to.
Sorry,
care.
sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, with anybody else, you probably wouldn't need a moderator, but with Craig, it seems like second time, the third time probably it'd be war. I mean, you did very well to keep your calm, to be honest.
I tried.
You did very well. I thought you were going to lose it a few times, but you did well. You did well to keep it.
It wasn't
Keep
easy.
your head.
It wasn't easy, but yeah, at least I got him to double speak a lot of things and actually disprove gravity with his own words. So
Absolutely, like somebody said in the chat, who was it? I think it was Lumpy. He said in the chat, or it might have been Jolly Man. An hour and a half, and there was no hypothesis as such. You know what I mean?
not
Which
even a
is
hypothesis.
crazy.
And I just have to say thank you again, Godzilla, for your super chats. Really, really do appreciate it. I just hope I'm not going to get copyright strike like the last one with FTFE. I got copyright strike because of his flipping intro music.
Yeah, I think he does that on purpose. He does that on
So
purpose.
if I'm going to get copyright strike now, then sorry, Craig, I'm not going to debate you again because this is really. He could have just muted his flipping mic.
Easy. It's simple to do, isn't it? It's just a press of a button. And that's
It took me
You know what I
took
mean?
me like a week to get that sorted out.
Absolutely. Right, Flats, excellent debate. Very exhaustive.
Yeah, I'm going
But
to
I'm
bed
going to go
now.
to bed.
I'm also going to bed now. Thanks very much, all of you guys. Thank you, PJ, for coming.
No probs. Flats, see you next time.
Yeah, tomorrow night it's the members stream where I'm going to be debunking McToon.
Excellent. That sounds good. Brilliant.
going to be
See you
quite
tomorrow,
good.
Flats.
Okay.
Bless you, man.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, 100% Travis. What is inertia? What is mass? Could you answer me? No, because they're the same thing. Debunks the whole argument just that alone. Okay, thanks everybody for coming. I really do have to go sleep now. I've got to get up in a few hours work. You guys are awesome. Really do appreciate all your support and even you trolls for coming along. Till tomorrow. God bless. Cheers.